Here it is, 2 minutes past the hour, 2:02 in the Mile High City as another edition of the Modern Eater Show goes. It's Monday and March 37th, Jay, or April 6th.
April 6th. I can't do the
March 37th.
Can't do the March thing. Here we go.
Day 22 out of 57, 22 days ago on a Monday. So what, 3 weeks ago? Dining rooms and restaurants and bars shut down all over the Mile High City and Front Range. And we were told, here it is, May 11th, our target date. 36 days to go. 36 days, Jay. We're not even halfway through.
No, we're not. And it's I don't watch the local news when I get home, and so I almost have this illusion that things aren't as bad as they are, or time wise. Right?
Don't watch the news, especially national news, because the walls are closing in. We're all going to die, and COVID is taking over. It's this week is where the worst of it should happen, is what we're being told, and so far just devastating the economy, folks. The health is at paramount. Did you make a mask?
No.
You didn't?
No.
Got to get creative. I got an idea here. Let me take my headset off. Tell me what you think of this. All I need is one more strap on the other side, but I think I can take care of that tonight.
Crown Corona mask.
It's a Crown Royale bag.
I mean,
people are repurposing now. A brassiere might work, or what? I mean,
that's what I've been trying.
What are you
going
to make? Oh, really? That one bra that was left at your house.
yeah, that's right. A bandana.
I'm
just my plan is anyway, and I'm not really going out.
The governor asked us to show our creativity, though, make it look cool. I thought a Crown Royale bag would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
but use whatever. Yeah. Sam Pasquale. We could use the
Sam Pasquale.
The garb of Sam Pasquale. Ready for a show? We got a big show today for you, Sam Pasquale, and the chicken here with us too. Mm-hmm. We're ready for a show. Andres Chaparro, Rola Urban, is going to join us in the next segment, 2:15.
Urban Colombian Food.
Yeah, I didn't write that down.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Urban.
Yeah, they're in the Zeppelin station. They're doing some cool stuff, and we're going to talk to them, get to know them.
Brewers Association President and CEO Bob Pease is going to join us at 3 p.m. The effects on beer. Will beer cost $6 a can? After this is
doesn't it?
Said and
certain
done.
Beers are already
I don't know.
$6-7.
The Slavica Park will join us at 3:30. The Spice Guys, Zach Johnston. Today's loan day, right? SBAs. You can start applying for the SBA loan. Let me ask you a question, Jay. What if I told you you could qualify for a loan without any collateral or any qualifications at all? Would you do that
for a loan?
Yeah.
Do I have to pay it back?
Yeah, maybe not.
Well, that's a big factor for me if you're asking me, because,
oh boy,
wait, you don't want to take advantage of it.
Also, I have a banking buddy, and thanks for joining us today. We got, like I said, we have a big show for you today. Share this if you can. Did you put on the title that I was going to shave my head if?
No.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
I'm telling you, and it's not going to happen, but at once, live viewers, 1,000 at once. Shaving my head. I need a haircut anyway.
Yeah.
In fact, I think I could trim it up a little bit right now. But 1,000 live viewers at once is not going to happen. But it takes a lot of sharing for that, if we could. The loans are out there. SBAs, they're flooding the. So my buddy's a banker, right? I'm not going to say what bank, but I think he might come on the show. And don't hold it against me that one of my buddies is a banker. He is saying that SBA loans, first of all, they call them products. The PPP and the SBA, it's a product. It's a bank product that they're rolling out. He's saying we're not set up for it. We don't have the infrastructure. Mm-hmm. Everybody's going to want to apply for this. I don't know how banks are going to handle it, hoping to get him on. But Zach Johnston, the Spice Guy, is going to join us to talk about, he's a smart guy.
He's a very smart guy. And every time we have him on the show, you learn something from him. So I love it when we have him on.
And he is doing that exact same thing. And he's also, he's got an attorney that might join us tomorrow that's just so helpful. Our group Do you know what the group's called? Emergency. I don't even know what the name is.
Emergency Food Network.
Emergency. No. Oh my goodness.
It's close to that.
I can't believe that. We've got our own group and we don't even know what the name of it is. Emergency Food Service, right? Or Food Service Emergency. That's exactly what it is. Food Service Emergency. If you go to that group, Zach Johnston's been posting some great stuff for small business people to take a look at. See? I told you. There we are there.
Yeah, that's us.
I need to share that. I'm looking forward to all of these conversations today, but you know who I need the most? Dr. Baby Yoda, Dr. Sara Metz has joined us every single day.
Yeah.
Throughout this,
we're figuring out that we're a bunch of head cases.
No, we are.
As the week, and especially as the week goes on, Thursday, Friday, we're out of our minds.
I really want a haircut.
I'll cut your hair. I mean, regardless of viewership or not. I mean, I'll line you up.
But what? Line me up?
Yeah.
See, I can't trust.
I got the verbiage and everything.
There's one thing I have right now going for me in life. It's a head of hair.
Listen, man. I tell you all the time that you have beautiful hair,
well, thank you.
And I wish that I'm thinning. Mine's still there, but I wish I had Greg's hair. Wish I had Greg's hair. We're standing by for.
I got plenty of stuff. You've been doing virtual happy hours?
No. I don't drink.
How about virtual dating? You don't need to.
Well,
see, that could make it even better. See, it's like instead of going to a regular bar or a restaurant, right? You meet a young lady and you say, let's, have a nightcap at my place, carry it over. Mm-hmm. Now you can do your best work because you can say, let's carry this over to Snapchat.
I'm trying. How come every time
you raise a glass to him?
Every time I speak, it turns into
because
women and how and
because that's all you do.
Well, which is fine. It's not all I do.
But here's what I propose, right? Just like anybody else that would go to a bar or a nightclub, you don't have to drink, and in fact, you could probably do some of your best work, right? Go into one of these virtual happy hours, into a Zoom room or however that's working out, and lay down some sober game as they have a few drinks. Then you get to carry it over to your Snapchat.
I'm just not where
you do your best work.
I'm not I don't know. Maybe so. I'll let you know.
But here's one. Let's see. Let's look at one of these. A Drifts virtual tiki party, right? Cool. You could even dress up and do the theme to it. April 5th, right, at 5 p.m. This is off a 5280 article. Mm-hmm. 5280 article. Yeah. So here's what you could do. They're going to bring all the tropical digs to your door. Wait. No way. All right. And they can even batch some stuff up. A lot of places you can go get the drinks from the place and then they have the happy hour. So everybody's having the same drink, which would be cool. Yeah. I'm telling you, I think you could really do some good, make some progress.
What do you mean by progress?
Well, you're bored right now, aren't you?
No, I'm not bored. I mean, well, listen, yesterday.
Who are you quarantined with?
Myself.
You're bored then.
I mean, I wouldn't say I've got Netflix and Ozark, which I just, now I'm done with Ozark, but
I'm trying to get into that.
Well, you have to watch.
Hello. We've got him here right now. Good to see your face.
That looks like Andres.
That is Andres.
This is Andres. How are you guys?
Oh, we're fantastic. Turn Andres down just a little bit in my headset. I think he's coming through hot. You're coming in hot today, Andres.
Well, with this beautiful day, we all should be really hot.
It is. It's 72 Kim counting degrees out. I say, do you remember a Denver radio station called KIMN? Kim?
I do not. How many years ago was that?
Oh man, too many years ago. But Kim, They used to. It was brilliant, and you with your media background, you would think it was brilliant too. Instead of saying degrees, they would use Kim. So they'd go 72 Kim counting degrees outside. It's stuck in my head for the past 30 years.
All right. How are you guys doing?
We're doing good. Andres Chaparro on with us right now. Rola Urban Colombian Food. And you're in Zeppelin Station right now, sir?
Yes, indeed. Yes, we are.
Absolutely. I've got your bio in front of me. It's a pretty illustrious bio you have here, my friend. Emmy Award winner. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Spend 30 seconds and talk about yourself.
Native from Colombia, arrived to this country 20 years ago, and married, have 3 kids as well. And in the broadcast industry, advertising agency, And up until last year, I was the president of Telemundo Denver, Spanish language station. Left the corporate world, and now I've been focusing on investing on entrepreneurs and small businesses. And one of them is La Rola Urban Colombian Food. Very passionate about helping the community, working with a lot of not-for-profits, and always giving back to the community.
Okay, so you don't want to talk about yourself too much, which I can appreciate and understand. Where is cooking in your background?
Right now, no, but I can, because we were actually with 2 customers just who arrived, so very pleased about that.
No. Okay, let me rephrase that. Does your background, your professional background, include cooking?
No, actually, no. I cannot consider myself a chef, but I love cooking. One of my passions, and I've always wanted it to be in the food industry. And that was one of the first things that I did after I left the corporate world. So, and now it's a passion. I love it. I love the people. I love bringing smiles through food. I feel that food brings people together.
Why did you leave the corporate world?
I think it was a process in which the company was planning on doing some projects, and I don't think that I was really ready for it. I was not the right person to lead those projects. It was an expansion, and honestly, it was not the right move for me. So we had a very good conversation, and then I left the company. And it was a plan that it was going to happen 2 years down the road on my end to leave the corporate world, and it happened just 2 years earlier.
Is your media experience coming into play right now?
Completely.
Tell us how.
I think it has allowed me to reach out to those who I built great partnerships in the past, who know how we work with the community, and tell them a little bit about the story of what's going on in the Hispanic community, those who have been affected because they've lost their jobs in the food and service industry. As you can appreciate, you know that a great percentage of those who work in the food industry, waiters, cooks, chefs, managers, great percentage are Hispanic. So, and we want to make sure that we can all talk, share our input, and especially if we can do it in Spanish too, I think that it will have a better reach as well.
And so how do you figure that is going to be achieved, to do that in Spanish?
Well, what we've been doing, for example, in coverage with our newspaper, when someone is doing a great initiative in English, so what we're doing is saying, give us the same information, we'll put it in Spanish to make sure that it reaches everyone. And it's been very successful. 2 Spanish language television stations here picked up the story about Zeppelin and friends and family, about supporting those who lost their jobs in the food and service industry. Had not we done that, I think the Hispanic community would have lost that information. So, and quick info as well. After we did the story with our newspaper on video, the request, or those who called to request to be part of this, it went up by 50% in the Hispanic community. So 50% of the total meals went to Hispanics after that. So that's the way it is, just to make sure that we can collaborate, all of us, and spread the word.
So well said. And what we've talked about a long time is how can we better serve the Hispanic community when a lot of it's English-speaking programming. And a few folks that we've talked to, do you know Rico?
No, I do not.
You don't? Okay. There are some other folks that we've had conversations with on how can we get those messages out? What other platforms are available? And I think in an underserved community, there needs to be a concerted effort to get that information over to them. What types of platforms right now are available to disseminate messages to the Hispanic community here in Denver?
Aside from the 2 or 3 Spanish language television stations, there's almost 4 or 5 newspapers, including our magazine as well. There's several as well blogs, YouTube channels, Facebook groups, in which our community is really just following them to make sure that they get the news and information that they need. But more importantly, I think is in our community, I think and I feel that all they want is to get information that is going to empower their lives. So any platform that talks to them in English, but especially in Spanish, you will see how committed they will become to your program. All we want is to make sure that they get the information that is going to empower their lives. That's it.
Absolutely. Councilwoman Debbie Ortega joined us, I believe it was last Friday on the show. And one of the things that I put out to her was I was very worried about small business for Hispanics. Yeah. And the reason why I say that is that there's a lot of information that goes out there. We actually had Lorena Cantorovici on the show as well from Maria Empanada, talking about her story as she developed herself as a businesswoman. And information or I'm a little distracted by the background there. I'm trying to concentrate on this. Just getting feedback. No, I don't know what it is. It's just the headset's loud in my end, and I'm trying to work my way through it. This everybody's on Zoom these days, you know, and concentrating through the technology is one of those things. So one of the things that struck me with Lorena was she made it kind of her life mission as an entrepreneur that English is her second language to be able to join and communicate with resources for other folks, to reach out and gather those resources and see who you can ask questions to, who will be helpful for you, where is a resource information spot. Thank whatever you did back there, Jay. That's so much better. I can concentrate. Debbie Ortega on the show, the council person. The question I asked is, now that SBAs are available, PPP, it's hard enough for English-speaking people when it's in English to determine all of this material. My fear is that when I get numbers like from the Colorado Restaurant Association saying that 14% of small business restaurants will not exist in the next 30 days. I would have to think that that's a socioeconomic thing to where maybe the resources aren't going to be there for them. So as today's being the first day to apply for SBA loans, what are some of the things that we can do as we brainstorm together as a community to make sure that the underserved population is getting information and having resources to be able to draw from?
I think that the first step, if you can, is what you're doing now. Is reaching to those minority-owned businesses. As you know, my partners are a mom and two daughters who came from Colombia, single moms. So a beautiful story. And I think that the fact that you're giving us a window to share our story is the first and the most important one. The second one, I think, is for you to be able to, however you can, to have something in Spanish, whether you say about the links, if you get information about the SBA loans, about the grants, there's one that is $7,500 that a lot of in our community, they don't know for the restaurant owners. They can apply for that as a grant through the city of Denver and many more. So I think that creating those platforms, access to them, because they will really follow you. And if you can create partnerships with those Spanish language media outlets, whether it's Facebook or someone or newspapers like ours, just create a platform in which we can do that. We have partnerships with English language partners too, and we have as well with the Spanish. We believe that anything that happens in the Hispanic community is going to impact the English and vice versa. So, and Debbie, I know Debbie as well, and I think that the most important thing is access to information. That's the most important thing and key nowadays. Just provide them with that key.
What about having programs that are actually focused or drawn towards, I have to help with, but think that folks that may be undocumented or working on cash bases or on the lower end of small business, that some of the resources need to be real and tangible for them to be able to use. Do you understand where I'm going with that?
Yep.
How can we make it so that it isn't fear driven to where going with these mainstream resources may be detrimental to their business as it already is?
And thank you for the question. It's really appreciated. I think that working with the non-for-profit organizations who have access to them and they understand the dynamic, maybe the fears as well, and they already are in contact with them. They're providing them with meals, access to some financial aid as well, and some other ones. So I think working with those non-for-profits, let's say for Servicios de la Raza, there's one organization. They work with Hispanics of every single angle. Clínica Tepeyac as well. Latina Safe House, that's for violence against women, domestic violence. So my partner is coming now, actually, Andrea. She's going to join us. She was actually helping. She told me to come. There she is. Here's Andrea joining us.
Hey, Andrea Martinez joins us right here. And they're at Zeppelin Station at La Rola Urban Colombian Food. And we're kind of getting a little esoteric, but I think that those types of conversations deserve to be heard, Andres. And, we can have conversations about resources that are mainstream and accessible in that way. But I would have to imagine that there's, just like you were talking through the nonprofits, that more of an underground resources that I would say that aren't readily publicized, would I say. Yeah. Okay. Andrea, welcome to the show here. Andrea, could you talk about yourself just for a minute and tell us who you are and what you do?
Thank you for the opportunity. We really appreciate it. Well, my name, again, Andrea Martinez. I'm from Colombia, Bogota. I'm a single mother of 4 beautiful child, and I live with my mom and sister. We have already 18 years living in Colorado, and we are so happy to make this dream come true with Andres.
Well, yeah, I don't know if any of us are living it.
It made my dream come true. It's the opposite.
Well, let's talk about the dream. What's the dream?
Well, La Rola was a dream. My mom have a exquisitus, delicious culinary. Well, she's not a chef, but she made the food from Colombia so good. So we have the idea, after my dad passed away 3 years ago, to start a food truck. So we start with a food truck. We have owned that business like a year and a half. Then we stop for a little bit. We get together with Andres. We meet almost for 6-7 years.
Yeah.
I meet him in Telemundo. And then we talk and we get the idea better. And we start looking for a place. Is when we find a filling station to start again our dream coming true. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, Andrea. Did anybody help you along the way financially, or did you kind of have to scrap and claw and save a few bucks here, or do what you could internally or within your family, or was there outside opportunity and helps and loans and bankers? I'm just trying to get a feel for how you got to where you are right now.
No, we have the funds. When we start the food truck, we have the funds to start it. But we struggle a little bit. We don't ask for any loan. We don't have the tools in that moment to find a loan to continue with the food truck. That's why we have to stop to do that. And then when we talk with Andres, he have this intention to invest in the business for the Latino community.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's where that conversation comes full circle to where just before you were joining us, Andres, we were talking about what are those basic resources. And a lot of times, especially when you're in another country or you don't speak those languages, or the language, you rely solely on yourself and the small resources around you. And I fear in a time like this to where the only thing that's certain is uncertainty, correct? We don't know what's happening. That there's got to be a lot of folks out there that are scared right now for a lack of resources. And that just strikes me more than anything else in the world as we see the federal government jockeying for position to try and figure out how Americans are going to be able to draw either a loan or a grant that I'm not so sure that a lot of the underserved Hispanic community would even take them up on those types of resources.
Exactly. And if you think about it as well, I'm not going to say something that is not new, but if we know that some of those in the they have not been able to figure out their status, their immigration status, they've been paying taxes in many ways. But now they can't get access to those taxes at all, whether it's unemployment, whether it's SBA loans, nothing. Why? Because of their situation. So regardless of how they did it, what I'm saying is that there's millions of dollars in the federal, at the federal level for taxes paid by them, but they don't have access to them. So, and now just April 1st, the rent was due, credit cards, a lot of things, and they have no access to it. So we're trying to figure out a way to communicate more, especially to them, to everyone. But how can we provide it with information that can help them? So the first thing is not-for-profits, meals for their kids as well. There's several organizations doing that. So as long as we can help them first with information and food, I know that at least we can temporarily help them kind of find a way to survive, because this is going to impact tremendously our Hispanic community and those with those undocumented as well.
That's the real conversation. That's the real conversation. And I think people sidestep that conversation a lot. And a lot of folks probably wouldn't put up their hand and say, listen, I'm in that demographic, because they don't want the spotlight on them. They just truly don't. Yeah. And go ahead, sir.
No. And I appreciate that. And you know what is happening as well is that maybe some of the restaurants don't want to talk about it because they don't want to draw the attention to them if they were maybe supporting those great workers who the only thing that they want is to have a great life here and support the economy and follow the rules. So I think that is happening as well with the restaurant owners or owners. They don't want to draw any attention sometimes to protect their own people, which is a beautiful story, but it's pretty sad.
Yeah, I want to connect you with a gentleman, Mark Whistler, who's the owner of the Goods Restaurant on Colfax, across from East High School by the tattered cover building. He calls his restaurant basically a restaurant for all. I think sanctuary is an overused term, maybe, but a restaurant. Let's face it, and we'll call it pre-coronavirus. Restaurants were struggling with keeping consistent help in the kitchen for the longest time now.
Yeah.
It was very difficult and then they find out that they bring a, let's say, 16-year-old millennial kid in there who has no work ethic at all, who wants to make more money and tell them when they're going to show up. It's an interesting thing to where, okay, we rely on the Hispanic community so much when it comes to restaurants, but we won't provide them resources and afford them to not only make a living, but to be able to maybe own their own business if they want to. It's maddening to me. And I think that right now awareness needs to happen, but you're right. On that level of restaurant owners, I think a lot of that information should be obligated to their employees or folks that want to move forward into the business world or continue to go.
And we were having a video conference call on Friday with some of them, with Dana, the owner of Super Mega Bien,
sure,
as well, and with Edwin of, my God, I forgot, he's with Revision, Inside Revision, Catrucho.
Yeah.
He's the owner of Catruchos as well. So, and we're talking about this. We are connecting. We are having conversations with some other restaurants as well, friends of mine, and we're trying to figure it out. How can we do it?
Yeah.
So, and I appreciate this because the more that you can ask these questions, whether they're uncomfortable to those who are on this side of the video,
Sure.
that's okay. We need to have the conversation. It is a reality, and then we have to face it. And then we need to speak in a way that first we can be respectful, we can be honest, and we can be as well hopeful. Because if not, then this is going to be a situation that is going to get worse.
I just know there's no benefit to excluding the Hispanic population from our communities. There's no benefit to us at all, and I think that it's kind of like that analogy. You don't know what you have until it's gone, and I think restaurants have been suffering from the lack of participation. Let's just say. Do you mind talking about that perceived lack of participation pre-coronavirus with restaurants and the Hispanic community working in kitchens and in service industry, just their sentiments and thoughts towards what they're seeing right now?
You mean pre-coronavirus in what sense? I'm sorry.
Just going to work every day or wanting to participate in a kitchen or be helpful. And I don't want to call out restaurants by name, but there are some restaurants that are afraid to have that work because they don't want to have a spotlight drawn on them for whatever reason that may be. And the Hispanics just will go to where family is. You go where you feel comfortable and safe. And comfortable and safety has not been felt for quite some time. And other kitchens are suffering. Other kitchens are flourishing because they feel comfort. What is that comfort that needs to take place right now in order to be able to even out that playing field again for folks to want to get back to work in the kitchens?
I think that if Andrea wants to say something as well, but I've been in this industry for only 7 months, and what I've been able to see both as an owner as well, but someone being in front of the behind the cash register or behind as well the line. I think that what our community want, honestly, is just to have the honest conversation with them. They want those managers, owners to tell them, this is what you have access to. This is to feel that they are talking to them. And I know they are. I know they're having the conversation. And to try to help them, because there's so many who are fighting for them in silence. There's so many. Yeah. Honestly, there's so many asking questions. Actually, some of them are even taking their own paycheck and giving it to them. Why? Because they know that they're suffering. So I think it's just how can we, through this situation, is find ways to build the voice so we can knock at the doors for people, for example, DACA, those DACA students as well, who are amazing people, that if this goes away, they're going to have to go back to a country that they don't even know. So how can we get as well those undocumented who have done the right thing, meaning after coming here, and then help them with a path to residency or citizenship? Yeah. We all can just have a voice. Let's build it, knock on the door, talk to our councilman, councilwoman, talk to our governor, create a coalition that we're not afraid. We have a huge voice. Look at us. Look at you. I mean, you have a huge voice. So let's all get together, ask the question, tell them, join us, and let's do it.
I love it. And back to you, Andrea. The dream, you talked about the dream beforehand and everything of why you wanted to get into it, coming from Bogota, Colombia, here, and your family, and you're a single mother with 4 children. And it's still a dream to you to provide food and to make people happy. It's that servitude, that service industry. Now everything's turned upside down, and restaurants, the playing field is even right now. You could have had a ton of restaurants and you're back down to working in your kitchen. So now that everything is turned upside down or doesn't resemble what it did pre-coronavirus, how can we continue on that dream for you? What are you looking at in order to be able to, well, you've probably been used to just scraping along. And so this is nothing new for you, probably. It's like, we will make it. Well, what are your thoughts on that?
No, well, we talked to Andres and my mom and sister, just be positive. Try to don't see the news every day is worse every time we see it. So just try to be positive. Try to be helping another people. The program that Zeppelin Station have with friends and family is helping a lot. Do that to give food to a people who need it is such a blessing. So
it's amazing. And guys, so this is just a service industry thing. What's the first thing? It gets demolished overnight in 24 hours. And the first instinct for chefs and restaurants and front of the house and back of the house is how can they make other people happy? But still continue to serve food to them. How can we help you? How can we what do you need right now? Support. I know money. Gift card.
No, just keep passing the post, sharing this video. Probably we can give you more Latino or Hispanic restaurants owners, get in contact with them and see, I don't know, that get together. Just make one voice, like Andrea said.
It's interesting.
And look what she brought. Look, just because we have to. This is our box of pre-cooked frozen empanadas. So no one has touched them. So when you put them in the fryer or in the oven, they're ready to go. They're gluten-free. Are you gonna have them? They're gluten-free. Look at them. They're pork, chicken, veggie. And beef. So that's the way as well.
Where can folks buy those at?
I'm sorry?
Where can folks buy those?
Here, or you can call us, and then if you order more than something that is higher than $50, we'll deliver it ourselves. So you don't have to use Uber or anything else. We'll go to your house as long as it's with a minimum of $50. And this box is only $18.
It's amazing. Rola Urban Colombian Food, that's in Zeppelin Station. You could call ahead, is what you were saying?
Yeah.
A website, I would assume, too?
Yeah, what's the website?
Is Rola Urban Colombian Food.com.
Can you teach me how to roll my R's? I can't do that. No.
I've been doing it with my kids, and it's been a little difficult.
I just you can either do it or not. Tell us about. I thought that conversation was important to have, because I think a lot of times people will have a conversation and just gloss over like the real everyday business important stuff. And what strikes me is, I know, Andrea, you're not going to ask anybody from anything. You probably are one of those folks that has a few dollars in a sock at your house and just ready for a rainy day. Which, Jay, do you have that? Do you have a sock full of money? I don't know if you can.
No, I don't have a sock full of money, but if I had any money, I wouldn't have a problem putting it in a sock.
Yeah, but Andres, you actually came across and got into business with them, right?
Yeah,
that's what we need, is more of that, more betting on people, more putting your time and your efforts, and actually collaborating. Again, just resources, asking for help from people that you trust, and actually having those resources there. The meals that you guys are doing right now through friends and family is very cool, but that is for service industry folks. I know you'd like to broaden that a little bit for underserved community. Talk about what you want to do with that, guys.
Well, on the with the friends and family, so yes, indeed, we're doing that. But I've been in contact with Ponderosa. It's an organization that is working with the Denver Metro. I think it's called Food Network. I think it is. And they're providing almost 3,000 or 4,000 meals to anyone. Wow. And they're distributing them. So the way that it works, as I understood, is that we come in as restaurants, we provide per se our information, and if they approve you, because there's some, they have their own guidelines, and then you make sure that you're providing meals that are very affordable. They'll pay you. So while you're helping people, you're being helped as well. So I think it's an awesome way of doing it. I'm trying as well to get us to an organization that are providing food on a daily basis to all of those, our heroes in the front line and hospitals. So we're trying to figure it out. So if anyone would like to hire us, we're building as well meals that are very, let's put it this way, food for your soul. Our heroes are just, they want to eat something, but they want to eat something as well for their soul. So, a sandwich is great. or let's give them some rice with chicken, some plantains, something that elevates a little bit their, put a little bit of that flavor from Colombia and Latino in a very affordable way. So we're trying to go, for example, from a $9 dish to a $4 dish to a $3 dish. So we're trying to build it.
I think that's awesome. Jay?
Yeah. Hey, Andres and Andrea. One of our avid followers is Chef Travis Smith from Bistro, Colorado. He writes in on the Facebook broadcast. He says, I'm here on a call with Governor Polis. Do you have a question I can ask him now? Is there any question, Andres, that just pops into your head that maybe I could get to the governor?
I think more importantly, I want to thank him for being a leader, for being straightforward, and calling it for what it is. But on behalf of us, I think is just help us unite each other as Hispanics. Help us come together. You've done a lot of things. I love the fact that he's very pro Hispanics and defending our rights. So I think that I just want to congratulate him. But it just help us just with more resources. Fight more for us, because we know that you're doing it. I don't know, Andrea, do you want to ask something?
No, I agree. Thank you.
Cool. All right, Ms. Martinez, tell us a food story. Let's talk about something fun real quick. Tell us something that's inspired you in food.
My mom, she, unfortunately, we just lost my grandma yesterday.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you. And she is one of my inspirations as well, of course, my mom. So it's not funny, but I just love her so much. Yeah,
absolutely. What's a great memory that you remember
from my grandma?
Yeah.
Well, she make empanadas. I think I was like 12. I was in the school and I come in every afternoon, and she make the empanadas, and she just put a table in front of the door, and she make the empanadas in the moment and sold them like easy. So easy. So I'm the sales lady. I sell the empanadas. I really love the sales. And I don't know, I have that from her. She don't have any shame, me as well. So the empanadas things comes from her.
I love it. What's your favorite food?
Empanadas.
Is it? Are you saying that just to say that?
No,
you mean that?
No, the empanadas are the hot dogs. That's something so good.
Hey,
and,
do you know about our hot dogs?
Tell us about your hot dogs.
All right, so that's and allow me to tell the story of the hot dogs. This is the food that we eat after we party in Bogota, Colombia, after midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. That you go. It's a street food, urban Colombian food. So there is the hot dog. The hot dog is called the millionaire. There's one that is the small one, and the big one is called the billionaire. So they come with your regular link, ham, shredded chicken, bacon bits, pineapple sauce, pink sauce.
Wait, pineapple sauce?
Yes, indeed. Oh, you have to try it.
Okay.
You have to try it anyway.
What's pineapple sauce?
It's just pineapple.
Just
puree pineapple. Yep. And then just put it on top. Gives it this sweetness, a little bit of that flavored kick.
Quail egg.
And then we put a quail egg on top. A boiled quail egg on top. With mashed potato chips on top, too. Mm-hmm. So...
Well, okay. Now, I've heard of stuff like that, but usually people are very stoned and high on marijuana and drunk at night, or pregnant to have all of those. Why so many ingredients?
That's the way we do it in Colombia. Mm-hmm. I will have to go back to how we started it, but that's the street food in Colombia: the empanadas, arepas, the pinchos. We have so much of this chorizo.
The picada.
The picada as well. We have blood sausage, chorizo, plantains, yuca, potato, the pork ribs too. So it's everything together.
And you guys do the hot dogs there?
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got... Now, those you probably don't do to go, because that would turn into a mess, wouldn't it? Or can you do that to go?
Yeah,
We do
we do it.
Yeah, and a lot of people, even prior to COVID-19, that's what they do. They take it because they want to sit down in a place where they feel comfortable and not, I'm not saying embarrassed, but it's just massive. So you just go and then want to feel happy that they can just get all messy and it's delicious.
Oh, wow. We're going to try. Jay, you got something?
Yeah, here's what I wanted. This is what I wanted to ask the last time when we had Lorena on from Maria Empanadas, and I forgot to ask, so I'll ask you, Andrea, now that I have you. Is there something that you thought would be a great idea to put inside of an empanada, and then when you put it in there and cooked it and ate it, you thought that was a bad idea and I should never have put that inside of an empanada?
I don't know.
Not yet?
No.
Not yet.
No.
Yeah,
Listen to the hot dog. I mean, like everything's a good idea.
Have you ever put hot dogs inside of an empanada?
No.
There you go.
Not
It
yet.
might be a bad idea.
There's a new special right there.
Are you guys in the kitchen or the office right now?
Yeah, we're on the second floor of Zeppelin.
Dang it. I was going to have you make us one of those hot dogs.
We can.
Can we do
all
it
the
this?
way down.
Can we do it this week?
Yeah,
We'll make
totally.
one this week. We'll check back in with you guys.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I'm glad that you entertained that conversation with me because I think that it needed to be had. We just need to start having deeper and more real conversations of what's actually going to help or move the needle for folks, rather than just gloss over conversations and say underserved community and not doing anything to help that. Let's make it a served community. Let's change that. You guys are great. I would encourage any and everybody to get acquainted with these guys, and it's La Rola. I wish I could do my art.
You did it right.
Yes.
La Rola.
La Rola.
You did it right. Don't think
Maybe
about it.
that's the word that La Rola. Dang
There
it.
you go. You got it.
I'm
That's
trying.
it. You got
Oh,
it.
very cool, you
I think
guys.
Andres is just being nice.
I
to
think
him.
he's being nice
Yeah.
too.
No,
But that's it.
No.
We're being honest. Believe me. You did a good job.
It was a pleasure having both of you on here, and I just have to say to you, Andrea, Jay is single too. I know you're a single mom. What do you think? We could do like a virtual happy hour. Maybe you guys could have a virtual date.
Okay, we'll see.
It sounds like my reputation precedes me.
That's right. You wouldn't agree to anything on there. I like that. That shows you're genuine. You're like, nope, I'm not having it.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Hey, he's pretty handsome, and he has no kids.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. You're a lot of fun. We'll catch up with
you
you
so much.
soon.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it for the time.
Sure.
Ciao.
Absolutely. I don't know, Jay. I'm trying for you.
Well, I appreciate that. I can use all the help I can get. Everybody knows that.
Virtual happy hours.
Cool folks, man.
I don't know. It was like I could have not had that conversation. Trying to figure, to navigate through that. It just seems to me like there's such a disconnect right now. And everything that I've seen about, Hispanics and kitchens and back of the house is that
there's a movie called A Day Without a Mexican, right? And
there is.
And I don't remember who's in it or anything else. I think there's a few names in there that you'll recognize, but I remember, and it's, I think from the 90s or early 2000. And I remember watching it and I remember thinking that this is, and the reason why the film was made was when you said earlier, you said it's like, how did you word it? Where it's like, you don't know what you got till it's gone. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what the movie is, right? So the movie is like everybody wakes up and it's based in California, sure. And you wake up and there are no more Mexicans in California. And what does that do to the economy? And what does it do with it? And I've been an advocate of the illegal workers, right? And that's always a conversation where it's, politicians, that's bad and everything else. Man.
But did you hear her beginnings? She her family, she scraped, she clawed, she got a food truck together. She'd earn a few more bucks, have a few more capabilities. These folks aren't running to banks and applying for loans and putting themselves out there. That the resources aren't there for them. This coronavirus is devastating, that hustle. But then again, like I said to her, you probably are used to starting out with nothing.
Well, I think a popular misconception with any race, this, that, and the other, where people they jump onto a biased and prejudiced thought of this certain race wants to do certain. It's like, man, listen, scumbags are scumbags, and hardworking people are hardworking people. It doesn't matter where you come from or what color.
I just want everybody to have the same opportunity.
Right. And listen, man,
Zach Johnston said, and the world shuts down without our Latino homies.
I don't know about the world, but if you think for 1 second that not only do we want the undocumented workers that come in California and do the fruit and do all that stuff, I mean, are you crazy? Like, are you crazy to think that you want to build the wall, and that's just, I'm going on a soapbox down that political thing.
Bob Pease is coming up.
It's ridiculous.
You know who he is?
I do.
Who is he?
He's the president and CEO of the Brewers Association.
Looking forward to that. Seeing what's happening with that.
Yeah.
Slavica Park. And again, you haven't made your mask yet, but you got to get creative. Crown Royal bags. That's what I
know. Well, here's the thing, man. I'm, mask. And I know the governor says if you're out in public, wear a mask. There's two things there. One, I don't have one. Not to say that that's the best excuse in the world, because I can make something, right? But I have a bandana, which technically, if you're not using the 95 mask, right?
No, you don't want to use those for what this purpose is.
Well, no, I know, but I'm just saying, if I had one, I'd wear it. But
you would?
So yeah, I mean, if I had one, but I don't have. Listen, all I'm saying is that the only time I'm around any other humans besides you is at the supermarket a couple times a week right now. And that's it. So I'm not saying that, I'm not trying to justify the fact that I don't have a mask or I haven't made one. But, honestly speaking, I'm not around too many people at all. And therefore, I don't have a mask.
Andrea Martinez, Garzon, who was just on, she thanked us just now for having them on. And we thank them too. I don't know, Jay. I think good looking gal. She's single, 4 kids.
Oh, you're trying to hook me up?
Could you handle 4 kids?
No.
You couldn't?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I'm sure she can handle them just fine. So
sure. I'm sure she can handle
them. Jump
just
right
fine.
into a whole family. I mean, I don't know. I appreciate the effort to get me hooked up, But,
ladies, Jay's single.
Yeah.
No problem with them.
They'll come running.
Also, the Spice Guy, Zach Johnston, talking about it's the SBA or the PPP or the PYT, pretty young thing. Which one are you going to apply for? The PYT?
Young thing.
The pretty young thing?
Yeah. That would be more my avenue, I'm sure.
I don't know. Basically, from what I'm seeing with these SBAs is that, bankers are saying this product, because that's what they're calling it, is not ready for rollout. We're not prepared for this. And so if you think you're going to get money anytime soon, don't hold your breath. We'll see. Nothing's certain right now.
No, and I mean, the scariest part for me and everybody else that can connect is just not knowing what the hell to do. I mean, there is assistance, and so we try to go get it. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's a hurry up and wait thing, because we just don't know. And so I'm sure when Dr. Sara Metz is on towards the end of the show, she reaffirms that, and that's a good way for us to just remind people that, listen, you can't solve everything at one time. Like, that's just not a realistic expectation. But you take a little.
Look at my hair; it looks so terrible. I just want a haircut. That's all I really want in life is a haircut. But I will shave it. I'm telling you, I will. And I don't think it's going to happen, because we're not going to have 1,000 live viewers, not views, because we get thousands of views. A lot of people watch it after the fact. John Irvin, Gluten-Free Things. Ready for this?
Sure.
John Irvin, Gluten-Free Things. He's doing good. Have you seen his little bizarre videos he's making?
Yeah.
With himself? He's like putting himself out there as like the face of his company.
Yeah. I mean,
That's interesting. Interesting play, John Irvin.
I don't think they're bizarre. I mean, they're unique.
Yeah. He got a write-up in the Denver Post as well.
Well, there you go. That shows you that he's
takeout and delivery. Gluten-Free Things is a dedicated gluten-free bakery. Find everything from crostinis and hot dog buns, pitas and pizza crust to graham crackers, cookies, cupcakes. You love all that stuff. If you're gluten-free and all these fresh-baked options, they'll be available for you, just like a kid in the candy store at the bakery. That's what's said on the deal. But here's the thing. It's in Arvada. Yeah. Go online, glutenfreethings.com. But if John Irvin's watching, dude, quit spamming the groups out there with your videos, because it's something to have a cool video, but put it out there once. And then let people check it out. And I know you're excited, John Irvin. I know you're excited. You got to. Did you see he's got like a cartoon face, and it has him talking about.
I didn't see that.
It's bizarre. It is so bizarre, but it's kind of cool. I watched the whole damn thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, see, there you go. John's one of those guys where I think initially you're like, man, I don't know what the hell I'm doing watching this guy, right? Like this guy's crazy. Yeah. And then you're 12 minutes in. Going, here's why I'm watching.
Marvin Williams from Abrusci's Fire and Vine is going to join us on the program as well. I think I'm seeing Bob Pease. Who do we have here?
Yeah, I think that's...
Is it? Yeah, it is.
There it is.
All right. He's joining us now. No turning back unless you just hang up on us. President and CEO, the Brewers Association, Bob Pease. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh,
Jay's good to be here.
I'm Greg. Jay's on the other side.
You can't see me, Bob, but that's your good fortune. Don't worry.
Looking good. We're in the Bob office right now.
Yes, you are.
Got to take it all in. There's the independent label.
Got the seal right there.
How's the seal doing?
Seal is rocking, man. I mean, I know you guys really wish you had my colleague Julia Hers on the show instead of me. But that's her baby. That's her project. She's the tip of the spear. Over 5,000 breweries now have signed the licensing agreement, downloaded the art to use the seal. So we're very pleased. And every time I go to the beer store, I see the seal on more and more packages all the time.
Mm-hmm. Did membership increase?
Not really, no. And we did not make the seal. The seal was not contingent upon being a member. We made the seal available to members and non-members alike. It was that important to us. We didn't charge for it. We really wanted there to be a tool out there where the beer drinker could easily identify which breweries were independently owned. And if that mattered to them, this was an easy tool for them to decide, hey, I want to support a small independent brewery. I know my money will be staying in my local community. And if that's important to you, that's what the seal does.
I love this. First of all, I love the Brewers Association and what you guys do. And you have just really intelligent people that work for you. Andy Sparhawk still with you?
No, Andy's absolutely still with us.
Oh, geez. You have this. That's the sense of humor I like, Bob. Are you drunk?
Andy,
please say yes.
I have been having more than my fair share of independent craft beers during the pandemic. It's been quite the crazy ride.
Yeah, 5 o'clock gets earlier every day. It really does.
Life tells me.
Lots of great people around you. First of all, going off of that conversation, this is just me being curious. What percentage of breweries are independent?
Oh, 98%. I mean, the vast.
That's what shocked me about, why do you need a seal that says 98%? It's like there's only 2% that aren't.
Well, there's a little over 8,000 breweries now in the United States of America, right? But certainly what has happened over the last 10 years is as the craft brewing community has matured, some formerly independent breweries have decided to sell to large global multinational corporations. And we make no judgment of that whatsoever when an American entrepreneur, young woman or man, decides, hey, they want to get out, they want to secure their future for their families. That's the American dream. And so, but why the seal is needed is because then what happens is the large multinational breweries kind of like to try to, hone in on our mojo a little bit and market those formerly independent breweries as still being independent. And that's just not the case. And so we don't make any judgment about the quality of the beer or anything like that. But we just want people to know, the beer drinker to know there is a difference. If you're independent, then you don't have those economies of scale. You don't have those raw material buying power advantages that you come and you sell your brewery to a multinational. And so that was one of the driving forces behind the seal.
I like it. So Big Beer. Who's on in the background that's got their audio on? Did Julia come in the room with her phone on?
I don't think that's me.
Okay, that's probably us over there. I wanted to say hi to Julia. It's good to always see her. Has the lexicon changed, or are we still calling Big Beer?
Well, Big Beer is fine.
Or the devil.
I mean, it's the large multinational corporations. And, a point I would want to make to your listeners is we work cooperatively with Big Beer, with the large breweries on a number of different issues. And certainly during the pandemic, we are finding ourselves working with them more and more. And, they're a very good partner on many of what we would call government affairs related issues.
Can you expand upon that?
Sure. One of the things we're working on with the large brewers right now would be we have asked the Congress for a $900 million tax credit for all breweries to address. Now, this is going to get kind of weedy, and so I know your listeners are pretty sophisticated and pretty advanced.
Actually, a lot of brewers. I wouldn't be surprised if Dave Thibodeau's watching, or you go down the line, but a lot of brewery owners are listening right now.
Yeah, I mean, Dave will know this issue well. What has happened with beer in this country in terms of draft beer, it has gone from being 26% of sales for craft brewers to 0 in a matter of days. And so there's a lot of beer out in the marketplace, either at retail or with distributors or in tanks at breweries, that's going to go bad. It's going to go out of code. And brewers will never be able to recoup that loss. And it is huge. It's massive. I mean, the timing of basically the entire retail segment of our industry being shut down couldn't have come at a worse time for beer. When you think about it, it was right before St. Patty's Day, March Madness was happening, spring break. I mean, all these big beer drinking occasions, and we're for craft brewers where we over-index in draft beer on premise. It was really, really negative for us. And so that would be one example of how we are working with the large brewers. I was on a conference call with their trade association CEO this morning on another issue. Unfortunately, it's not good news, but there's not a lot of good news these days. But there is a pending CO2 shortage right around the corner that we are working on with the large brewers. CO2 is a byproduct of ethanol. Demand for ethanol has dramatically decreased due to a number of issues. Trump administration decreasing the requirement for a certain amount of ethanol to be used in gasoline, the Saudi Arabia and Russia flooding the market with cheap oil. So again, driving down the demand for gas and ethanol. Ethanol plants are closing. There's only 250 ethanol plants in the United States, and only 50 of those produce the off-gas CO2, which is critical to the brewing industry. And so if this goes unchecked, it's going to be another difficult hurdle for all beer to overcome. Those are just two examples of how we do work with the large brewers in a very cooperative manner.
Tell them to stop taking shots at craft beer with those big commercials. Tell them we need that to end. It just leaves bad taste in all of our mouth.
I'll see what I can do.
It's interesting as craft beer has a culture or a cult following, I would say, which is so fantastic, especially in times like this, to where identity is one of those things to where people are wearing their brewery hats. One behind me here I could put on, and their T-shirts and having the swag and apparel, but it's very much like a sporting team.
Yeah, craft beer in particular inspires a very unique degree of passion. And, the beer drinker really identifies with their favorite or local brewery. And a big reason for that, in my mind, is it's because it's authenticity. The beer drinker can go and meet the young man or young woman who owns the brewery and talk to them and, give them direct feedback at the brewery. Very, very few, if any, consumer packaged goods can make a similar claim. So yeah, you don't see too many people getting, a tattoo of their, their favorite, I don't know,
Sausages.
hot sauce or
Yeah.
sausages, on their ankle. But with brewing, you see it all the time.
You do. You absolutely do. Great resource guide. And folks, I go there for information all the time when I'm trying to do some homework or just figure out, what's the state of beer right now. And from the Brewers Association, brewersassociation.org.
Yeah.
And right at the top, this is where organizations are either taking a nap or doing some work. You guys are obviously doing your work. You've got the COVID-19 Resource Center. And in that Resource Center, there's just tons of great stuff. And actually, one of the things that caught my eye was a couple of things. The cash flow, forecasting cash flow needs during a time of turbulence. I want to talk about that for a minute. And then also doing a polling as well. Talk about some of the polling that you're doing and what data you're able to compile from that polling.
Well, I would just first start saying appreciate the shout out for the resources on brewersassociation.org. And yeah, if any brewery owner or brewery personnel are listening, please go there. What we're trying to do now during the pandemic is shift our staff's mindset to provide business critical resources to breweries so they can stay in business right now. It is hard out there. I mean, it is, most breweries in Colorado and across the nation are either brew pub or tap room business models. And so basically you're akin to a restaurant. And, the hospitality industry in this state and really across the country has been shut down. So it is super difficult to, you're not going to be able to make ends meet. You can stay open, hopefully, and sell, sell some beer to go or things like that. But the Resource Center has a ton of good information on there. It tells breweries, how to apply for an SBA loan, how to get one of those 7A loans under the PPP program. It talks about how to get an EIDL grant or EIDL loan. So really trying to help our members survive during this. Really, it's a crisis for the American brewing industry. The one slim silver lining would be that if you're a production brewery putting your beer into bottles or cans, you probably have seen a spike of your sales over the last few weeks because we've helped around this country get breweries deemed essential businesses, which is not the case in every country across the world. I'm sure you probably caught the news coming out of Mexico late last week over the weekend where Mexico is shutting down their breweries, and that's happening in other countries across the nation. But in the United States, breweries have been deemed essential businesses, basically food processing. And, beer is food. And I know you guys live that, embody that. And, the work you guys have done in promoting beer and food pairing is top notch. And
we drink a lot of food.
I give a shout out to you guys for that. But anyway, if you package your beer, people are still drinking, but they just can't drink at the brewery, at the tap room, at the brew pub. They have to go to the grocery store, the liquor store, and buy their beer, at what we call an off-premise location and take it home. So there is a small silver lining for breweries that do package their beer. But in Colorado, it's about 75% of the breweries. There's 419 breweries now in Colorado. 75% of them are brew pubs or tap rooms. So their only income stream right now is maybe some to-go food or to-go beer or gift card sales or online merchandise. So it's pretty tight.
Let me riff off of that, if you will. And
Sure.
This is just me being geeky and stalking all your material on your great website. So months ago, probably, 18 months, 20 months ago, a couple of years, you had an article that talked about how recommending to small independent craft breweries that 80% of your business should come out of your tap room for survival. 20% distribution, 80% out of your tap room. Do you remember that?
Sure. That was pre-COVID-19.
Yeah, that's the question. what are we seeing now with that model, obviously? And if we all had, if we could all look into a crystal ball and have seen this coming, maybe the adjustments there. But do you still hold post-coronavirus, because there will be post-coronavirus?
Yep.
Are you steadfast with that, and how that division of sales should take place within a brewery, or do you feel that there will be a revision on the way to diversify for times like this?
Great question. Pre-COVID-19, the taproom business model was the most profitable business model for the majority of breweries. You make more selling the beer directly over the bar to the beer drinker than you do if you have to use a distributor to get your beer to retail, either to the restaurant, the bar, or the liquor or the grocery store. So what has happened? Whoa, did I lose you?
Nope, we're here.
The video just went off. I don't see you guys.
Oh no, I see you.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Let me try logging in again.
Yeah.
Well, the good news is our viewers can still see you and hear you. So,
okay. Cool.
I know, but he wants to see me because we're having a conversation. Okay, we're back. Good.
Because what had happened in the beer industry is huge explosion of small and independent breweries, but at the same time, a really significant consolidation of distributors. Now in this country, probably less than 900 distributors that would help get a brewery's product, get their beer to market. And so what was happening is, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, the dominant business model for people getting into brewing was the production brewery, where you open up a brewery, put in a canning line or a bottling line, and you sell bottles, cans, or kegs to a distributor, and they take your beer. They take your beer to market. Or a state like Colorado, where you can self-distribute, you might self-distribute, and you can still have a tap room. So you're getting revenues from both of those streams. What happened over the last 10 years, though, big explosion in number of breweries, big consolidation in distributors. So, and something that's really key to us and near and dear to our heart is what we call access to market. Breweries could not get access to market. They could not get a distributor to take their beers to bring it to the bars, restaurants, or liquor stores. So their choices then were either self-distribute, which is really, really hard to do. And, being an effective, I'm going to give a shout out to the beer distributors in, the state and around the country. Being a beer distributor is hard ass work. And those that are good at it do a really good job. And, they are key to the success of craft brewing. But there just weren't enough distributors around to handle all the breweries. So the taproom model then slowly emerged as the model of choice, where you could sell beer over the bar direct to your customer, and then maybe you get a food truck to come in over the weekend, or on some of the nights, and you have a great community gathering point, selling world-class beer, and you could make a very good living running a tap room. So I want to address your question about some of the survey work we're doing. We've got
cool. Bob, hold on 1 second, Bob. Housekeeping. Bob Pease, Brewers Association President and CEO, joins us, and I thought that the conversation, and I just want to put a ribbon on that if we can. We're looking at the Wild West right now, so take anything that's during coronavirus probably isn't going to be the best data to go forward to when we reach some kind of normalcy going forward. To be able to pick up beer outside off the curb or however that looks, we're going to kid ourselves if that's going to continue once the tap rooms are reopened. So that model of embracing your neighborhoods, having a solid base of 80% coming out of your tap room, I think that was really key. And I want to just put an exclamation point on that for breweries that were looking for positioning and footing past the boom or the novelty of breweries opening up, that was probably the key for survival for a lot of folks to reel that back in.
Yeah, absolutely right. Spot on. Some of the questions we've been doing in our survey work, and I want to give a big shout out to my colleague, Dr. Bart Watson, who's our chief economist here at the Brewers Association, arms us all with, incredible useful data that we can then take to policymakers in Washington or in Denver, in the capitals around the country to advocate for small and independent brewers. But we've been asking questions like, has COVID-19 already impacted your business? Obviously, the answer to that, 90% say yes. Do you anticipate year-over-year sales for this month to be down compared to last year? Again, 90% say yes. Have you stopped or changed your production schedule? Most have slowed, but not stopped. And then, we had to ask, some of the more difficult questions of, do you anticipate layoffs as a result of the ongoing events? And, 60% were affirmative yes, and 30% were unsure. So you could extrapolate that to, clearly the majority of small and independent breweries have had to let people go, which is super painful for any small business owner.
So I have to imagine most of the folks on the front line, meaning small breweries, neighborhood breweries, are wanting to not sit on a bunch of product at this point. What's some of the help or resources or ways that you're seeing effective to kind of dry up that pipeline of beer that they're sitting on?
Well, if it's draft beer, like I mentioned earlier, they're SOL for the most part, because there is no more draft beer being consumed in this country right now. You can't go to the brewery, you can't go to the tap room, and you can't go to the restaurant or bar. So draft beer has just dried up. 100%.
Some people are selling kegs.
Yeah, that's true. You can still sell kegs to go. So if you've got, you probably have a really nice home kegerator, and you could go out to your local brewery and support them that way and buy a sixtel and bring that home, maybe two.
Yeah.
So that absolutely is going on. But that is the draft beer generally is dried up, and so that's why we're working with the Large Brewers Trade Association group to try to ask for that tax credit for all breweries, not just large and small breweries. And then, the best thing that your listeners can do is continue to support the small and independent breweries that are open, that are selling beer to go. And we've got a fantastic resource on our sister website, craftbeer.com, that has by state every brewery that we've been able to get in touch with and lists everything that they're doing to stay open. And it takes you through, hey, this brewery in Alabama is selling beer to go. This brewery is selling merchandise. This brewery is doing food to go. So it's a really robust, easy to use resource, craftbeer.com. You can go there and find out quickly how you can support a small and independent brewery in your state, in your community, and send a few bucks their way.
So much great content on this website.
That's Julia and Andy's work.
It's really fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, so Bob, state of the state. Let's give that. If you were just to talk to folks and I let you riff for a couple of minutes of maybe calls that you're fielding, that's a tone of calls that you're getting. I'm just trying to take your temperature. What do you want to do out there? What's important to be able to relay at this point?
Well, I mean, this is an inflection moment for the small and independent brewing community. If this lasts months, then we're going to see a lot of businesses closing. They just don't have the resources to stay afloat very long. Obviously, everybody supports doing what's in the public interest of health-wise, and we're no different. But this is, if it lasts more than 2 months, the landscape's gonna look a lot different.
Are you getting those numbers in, Bob? The Colorado Restaurant Association, Sonia Riggs joins us often. One of the numbers that was, I don't know if that was startling, but at least from the data points that they were able to get back in just 2 short weeks, said that if not reopened within 30 days, 14% of restaurants just right off the bottom will go away.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought I'd seen 11%, but I'm sure you're right with 14%. Yeah, we're going to see similar numbers in the small and independent brewing community. Again, if you're putting your, there's 419 breweries in Colorado. Say, 96 of them, 100 of them are production breweries. So they're the ones putting their beer into bottles, cans, or kegs. Most of them will make it out to the other side. 150 brew pubs and 173 tap rooms. That's so about 75% of that 419. Unless they have, significant cash reserves on hand, a good chunk of them are not going to make it. And so it's really, really, disappointing. It's, crushing for all of us who have helped, develop the community in the state and around the country. But, everybody's business model is different. Everybody has different ways of raising capital. And that the demand for beer from small and independent brewers is not going away. It's only, and I think something like this will only make it grow. So if business owners, the young entrepreneurs can find a way to hang on, then we come out the other side. There's going to be a demand for their beer and demand for the product.
I say it daily. The only thing that's certain right now is uncertainty, but there is one thing that I can tell you is that some of the most devastating fires leave behind the most fertile soil. And with that being said, I know that's little consolations to folks that are contemplating right now. Look, it's March 37th, or otherwise known as April 6th. I can't pay my rent. I threw my keys in the door and let the landlord come in and take the property back over. Those are real things that are happening right now. Are you and your attorneys or whomever able to dissect that CARE Act and look at the relief of what's out there? And is there some viable stuff in there for breweries right now?
Yeah, absolutely. And before, I get into the CARES Act, I just quickly say, hope everybody knows tomorrow is National Beer Day.
Yay.
April 7th, right? So what better day to go out and support small and independent local breweries? And, in 2019, Colorado resumed our position as the #1 beer producing state in the nation, with about 19 million barrels of beer produced in Colorado in 2019. So that's a little more than 11% of all the beer produced in this country. And so beer is big time to Colorado's economy, to our culture, and to the community in general.
Absolutely. Was that California that we
Hey, Bob, how you doing? Jay here. I'm behind the camera. That was going to be my question: is can I guess who number 2 is? And I would have gone with California as well.
Yes, yeah. Our friends to the west.
National Beer Day, and that's really something to where I try and make that every single day. Absolutely. A lot of folks do too, but let's make it a point tomorrow, just like it was National Takeout Day a week and a half ago. National Beer Day. Go get a 12er of your favorite Colorado craft.
Hey, Bob.
Or she mentioned a Sixtel.
That's right.
Hey, Bob. Tomorrow for National Beer Day, who would you suggest that we try to get on the show? Who do you think would have a good thing to say for a day, National Beer Day?
Are you looking Colorado-wise?
Yeah, well, I mean, world-wise, if you have a phone number for them.
Well, I'm certainly big fans of all the guys out at Upslope Brewing here in Boulder.
Me too.
That's Matt Cutter, who is the owner, and his story is great. He was an IBM guy, and wrote up a business plan on a lark, and now look at. I don't know how many people they employ. They're making it through to the other side. They haven't had to lay anybody off, so he'd be a great spokesperson.
Could you connect me to him off the show?
I'd be happy to.
Great, that sounds great.
And tell him to quit making delicious seltzer, because you're going to have to make a category for that at the Great American Beer Festival.
Well, we are certainly hopeful that the Great American Beer Festival can be a big coming out party for the entire beer community around the country. The dates are September 26th to the 29th, and we're still planning on hosting a big old party and a great competition at the end of September.
Yes, gosh, we need that more than ever, huh?
Sure
I know just briefly, if folks are probably dissecting the CARE Act, so we probably don't have to get too much into that, and we'll know more as the days go on. But our blinders, I mean, how do you ever prepare for something like this? It's like you have your pants down and there it is. Was there anything that could have stopped the hemorrhaging right now that we could have done to prepare for this, or that we can look forward to as history repeats itself? That's how the future is. Is there anything we can do to plan in the future for maybe being in a better place?
Well, I mean, it's tough to plan for a global pandemic, right? I mean, but I did read a lot of stuff over the weekend, like I'm sure all of you have, about how the second Bush administration did do some game planning right around 2005 for a global pandemic. Where they ran some models, because I guess President Bush had read a book about the 1918 influenza epidemic in the United States, and it really resonated with him. So they did do some planning there. But, I will say, not getting too far into the weeds with the CARES Act, but, the Brewers Association is very, very active in Washington, D.C. Under normal circumstances, I travel there once every 6 weeks. We've got a dynamite person in D.C., our federal affairs director, who advocates for small breweries each and every day. And there were some good things in the CARES Act for small breweries and for the entire hospitality industry. The forgivable loans, through the SBA, the 7A loans, the emergency grants I've mentioned, the EIDL disaster loans, delayed payroll tax provisions. But the bottom line with the CARES Act is it didn't go far enough. What small business, what small hospitality, what small breweries need is they need a cash infusion right now. They don't need, 5 to 7 days and we'll get back to you and let you know if you got your loan. No, they need a cash infusion right now. And that's one of our survey questions. And 80% came back with, what do you want to see? They want to see direct grants to breweries. The second most common thing that they'd like to see in the next legislative package, which people are calling Phase 4, is permanent. We fought hard over the years to get the excise taxes lowered and cut in half for small and independent breweries. That rate is set to expire at the end of 2020. And the second thing our members are telling us is keep those rates, keep the lower rates in place, make them permanent.
Again, great resources. And I would just jump on their website. It's brewersassociation.org. And there's going to be a lot of great stuff, but folks can reach out directly as well. You probably have an email that you give out that's kind of just a blanket email that somebody monitors. Is there for questions?
Yeah, there's info at brewersassociation.org. But certainly any brewery owner or BA member that wants to email me directly, it's bob@brewersassociation.org. And, we work for the members, man. I mean, those are my bosses, and we are dedicated, each and every day about finding resources that we hope can make a little bit of difference and help breweries, get through this.
With just about 1 or 2 minutes left, Bob, I'm going to ask you to see what's behind you and in your office. Is there any way are you on your computer or a phone right now?
I'm on my computer.
Are you really? All right. Dang it. I wanted to see what was back there. Is that a bookshelf? Can you just move like that a little bit? Yeah, bookshelf. There's got to be some cool. What's the coolest thing you have up there that you can bring over to the camera?
I've got my Frisbee from my World Championship Ultimate Frisbee team from 2010.
We got to see that. Grab that, baby.
I'd love to see it. And then also, could you explain what that means?
You've never played Ultimate Frisbee?
No, I have not.
Oh, my God.
No, I have not.
Now, was that a game day Frisbee, or was this the trophy
Frisbee? This is what you get for winning. You don't get a lot of money, but you get
they give you another Frisbee,
huh? You get some cool plastic.
I love it.
What's Ultimate Frisbee?
Greatest game on earth. 7 on 7. A lot of principles of basketball, soccer, any team sport. 70-yard field, 20-yard end zones, 40 yards wide, and the idea is you throw a completed pass over the goal line to a teammate for a score. It's a lot of running, highly transitional, very athletic, awesome game.
Far out.
Yeah. Hey, Jay, me and you sometime.
You bet.
No, I mean, anytime you get into a thing where you say, yeah, you run and you do the, that's where
you
I
checked out?
Well, that's where I just think
but
lawn
here's
chair.
the thing. I know, but here you can have a couple beers while you're doing it. That's the thing.
The demographic match between craft beer drinkers and ultimate Frisbee players is pretty high.
Right there. Hey, Bob, I think this is probably the first time we've ever caught up. I can tell you the pleasure has been all mine. This has been fantastic, and I thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. Appreciate everything you guys are doing for the community. You guys are a big part. We're all in this together. And, as my friend and mentor, Sam Calgione, always said, together we are heavy.
Wow.
Let's stick together.
That's somebody I need to
down.
reach back out to. We had him on the show a few years ago, and I've since to catch up with him. So I'm putting that on my list.
How's Charlie doing?
He's great. I think he's really enjoying retirement. He comes by the office, every now and then. He sent me, and he sent really the whole staff, a really, inspirational email last week, just, telling us to hang in there. And, like what I just said, together we'll get through it.
I love it. Thank you, sir. Say hello to Julia for me, would you?
I sure will. You bet.
I appreciate it. And Andy, the whole team. Thank you so much.
Right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Pease, Brewers Association, president and CEO. What a great conversation that was.
Man, that dude is a cool dude.
He's hanging up his Frisbee right now.
I know. I genuinely, man, I'm not BSing when I say I'm not familiar with what that is. I kind of don't know what that is.
Bye, Bob.
Bye-bye, you guys. Thank you.
Later, buddy.
Good dude.
I don't know what it is, but I mean, I've obviously seen it. I don't live under a rock, but I didn't know
Ultimate
7 on
Frisbee?
7.
And
and,
think of like football with a Frisbee. You throw it to the end zone, you catch it. Yeah,
you score points.
There's more to it than it's fast paced, but you're right. Exhausting. I'm tired.
It's got to be exhausting.
Talking about beer.
Yeah.
A+ Beverage Solutions. Mental note, Jay.
Yeah.
Can you write this down? I want to get Jeff Rourke on this week. Jeff Rourke and A+ Beverage Solutions. Why? Because he cares. And did you hear Bob talk about that beer that's in the, it's going to go all to the trash. I hate hearing that. But we'll be back up and going soon, right? Family owned and operated business. 20 years he's been doing it. But what does he do? Specialty tap installations, beer, water, wine, coffee, nitro, if you want to add a line. But if you need to get them cleaned out right now, which I would suggest, $10 a line is the special.
That's nothing.
And you need to do it. Jeff Rourke and A+ Beverage Solutions. Call him 720-272-3809. And you don't, usually we say if you're pouring inefficient beer, what are you doing, Jay?
You're pouring your money down the drain.
If you're pouring skunky, stagnant beer left in your line, what are you doing?
You're pouring your pride down the line.
Yes, which we do often.
I'm just saying, as a craft beer producer, if you got funky beer, then that affects your pride somehow, some way. 720-272-3809. Sam Pasquale. He stakes his reputation on it. Yeah, he does.
And the chicken? It's 72 Kim counting degrees outside. A nice day, springtime. Everybody's still, as we're standing by. Hello, we have our next guest right now. And I think this is the Rev. Is this Rev Bradley? Who do we have here?
This is Brad Laurvick with you.
How are you, sir?
There he is.
Very well, thank you.
Good to hear your voice. Again, tell people who you are and then just give a little bit of background, sir.
So my name is Brad Laurvick, and I'm the United Methodist pastor serving the people of Denver with Highlands United Methodist Church here on the north side. I've been serving here about 8 years. It's a progressive congregation in a traditional setting, which means we believe God loves all people and we should make a difference in the world, and we have stained glass windows and pews, right? So it's a little bit of everything. I love the people I serve alongside, and I love that we see the entire community as our call to serve.
That's fantastic.
That's awesome.
So here we are in the throes of COVID, and the outbreak continues as we look to a peak this week in uncertain times. And you guys are doing some great things to serve the community. I'm just going to set it up there, and you take it away, sir.
Yeah, so I think one of the big pieces that brought us into conversation today is the Sewing Coalition Project. I also happen to serve on the Denver Public School Board, and so I spend every single morning on a local electeds call We've got state senators, state representatives, city council people, RTD, myself and another school board director, pretty much anybody who's been elected on the north or west side of town. And we start our day every day talking together, sharing information, and figuring out how best to serve the people of our community. And in one of those conversations, Councilwoman Debbie Ortega mentioned that she'd like to figure out a way to, one, and this was even before masks were the in thing, she wanted to figure out a way that we could get masks to people who needed them. We're thinking grocery store workers, we're thinking folks in the food industry, the people making meals, delivering meals, taking to-go orders. These folks, they're not getting the medical grade stuff because that does need to be in our hospitals. But these are folks who need to be cared for while they're caring for us. And she thought to herself, hey, we not only need that, but how can we have people make these masks who need work? So we've got folks working in the other room, and I can take you there in a minute if you'd like. Cleaning companies, who work, some restaurant jobs, who all sorts of different kinds of activities that just can't happen right now. And so we're able to pay a living wage. We're doing $15 an hour through donations and hopefully a little bit more grant money coming in that we can pay folks to make the masks that we then are able to offer for folks who are in the service industry at most risk.
Interesting. That's fantastic. Truly something that we need. So let's get into the nuts and bolts of it. How many have you made so far, and how many are in out there in the public?
So the number made is in the hundreds after the first, 3 or 4 days worth of making. Mm-hmm. And the amount made every day continues to grow. And I'll touch base with one of my colleagues to get us a more specific number. I've been running around a bit today and
I'm just seeing what you're doing. How long does it take to make a mask?
That's one of the things we'll ask when we're in the other room. It just depends. We have folks who have been sewing and teaching sewing their entire lives, and they can crank them out a little bit faster. We also have folks who have said, I know how to do this, but we've got folks who just do cutting. It's amazing to watch people teach and learn from a distance how to make this all happen. We have more than 100 orders in from different folks who have asked and needed. I'm going to get you those links, if Slavica didn't already, for where to go to volunteer. Mm-hmm. To ask to get it. But it's been an amazing process. And this is why when Councilwoman Ortega said she was looking for this opportunity, she looked at me on our Zoom call and said, you got room? And of course we do. First off, we always have room for community projects. We host everything from support groups to Swallow Hill Music, to parent groups, toddler play classes. We have an organization that gets together to offer exercise classes for folks who are living with Parkinson's. Our whole idea is to create Mile High Behavioral Health. ARC Thrift Stores has done picking up and dropping off. It has been unbelievable to watch the number of folks who have volunteered to make things happen. And Slavica is with us now, it looks like, and she can get us some more of the specifics. Slavica, I was just catching up on the amazing partners who have made this possible, from ARC bringing and delivering fabric and machines, from the folks who donated machines. It's been a great conversation so far. Slavica is one of our project managers who does already in her day-to-day life a lot of great work caring for the community.
We've met you, Slavica. Yes, ma'am. I can't wait to reopen too.
I don't have video of Slavica right now. Something's going on, I think, on her computer.
I can see Slavica.
You can see her. I can't see her on my end. So I'll try to do a couple things. I just wanted to paint the picture so that Reverend Bradley and Greg knows she's not on the broadcast as far as video, but we can hear you. If it continues like this, Slavica, I'd ask that you try using your phone so that we can get a video of you. You are on your phone.
Yeah, and I can see her on this side.
Okay, let me work on my end.
Well, good to have you, Slavica, with us. And again, so Bradley, what do folks call you? Do they call you Pastor or?
I'm just Brad. When people refer to me, I'm Pastor Brad, but titles are for other things.
Okay, well, I'd just like to be able to refer to you the way you like. So, Brad, we'll leave it at Brad. Brad, where were you leaving off with Slavica? We were talking about resources and gathering equipment, right?
Yep. So we had donated machines from Denver Public Library and Mile High Behavioral Health. ARC used their trucks to pick them up and bring them here from the libraries, as well as donating all the cotton fabric they had from multiple stores in the area. We've had some really great partnership in all of this. And then community networks reaching out, inviting folks to hear about the opportunity both to ask for masks and to ask for opportunities to work.
There we go.
You got Slavica now?
Now I have her. Now, Slavica, I'm going to ask you one more thing, is to turn your phone sideways so it'll open up the full screen. And then I'm going to put you and Brett. There we go. Now we are cooking with fire. I will stop talking and let you guys continue.
I was happy you won't ask for that full view.
Where are you, at home, Slavica?
I'm in my office, or what I'm trying to convert into my office here at home. Yes.
Sure. Just a couple minutes late to the dance, but not too bad. What would you like to add to this project that is going on right now?
It has just been such a fantastic collaborative project of so many great people coming together and essentially pulling this off in 1 week to meet the demand. I mean, it certainly started with Councilwoman Debbie Ortega, myself, and Brad chatting about what the need is in community and what we could do as leaders to help meet that need. And so, yes, Brad has already mentioned, or Reverend Brad has already mentioned our fantastic partners, but it's just been amazing watching how quickly all of that came together.
Brad, you're still going to take us into the other room here for a small tour?
Let me get my mask on and head that direction.
And this is, I'm assuming, one of the masks that's been created or made in the other room?
It absolutely was. Handmade by some great folks, taken home and washed, as all masks should be before they're worn. Off and ready to go. I wore it when I stopped by the Denver Bread Company today to pick up some bread for the Holy Week service I'm live streaming. It's been great.
And is that recycled material or is that brand new material?
We got all of our materials donated to St. Davis, and it's important to know that it's cotton and it's 3 layers. So we have a filter that we use that we put in the middle. So these are as high of a protection as one can get for the homemade masks.
Look at this. Wow. Quite the operation.
Quite the operation, like I said,
the big room
came together within a week.
Yeah, and we've got the tables, we got the chairs, and we've got the room so that people, as you can see, can be spaced out and doing work in as safe a way as possible. We've got, of course...
Hey, Bradley, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I lost your video connection when you started bouncing around. Do me a favor and just leave the room on your phone and then join the room back again, and let's hope that video picks back up.
That's so weird because I have it crystal clear on my end.
I know. I don't know.
Now we have Slavica.
Yeah, there's I don't know.
And here comes Bradley.
Let's hope. There we go. All right.
We're back.
Yeah, we're back, and I have video. So sorry to interrupt. Continue.
Great. Yeah, so you can see we're able to keep folks spaced. We also, just because of our own readiness, we got sanitizer like you wouldn't believe.
So what Brad is showing, I don't know what happened with his voiceover, is just our little setup, making sure that everybody is maintaining 6 feet of distance. These are all the donated fabrics we have gotten either from the ARC thrift store or from the tent Denver. And just as of today, folks are also privately starting to bring in donations for us of cotton fabric and filters. And as you saw in the room, Brad and his team have set up these tables, and there are some finished products, some finished masks. And we are just about to partner with Lucky Leo and hoping to ramp up our production to up to 600 masks a day.
My guess
is the demand has just been incredible. And we've had quite a bit of demand for children's masks. So we had to come up with our own little pattern for that. And those are the ones that you see there with the little trucks on it. So we're using them in 3 sizes as well as in children's size.
What's the goal here? How many can you do in a day? I don't want you guys, it looks like you either need more people or I don't know what to think here. I just know they're working hard.
These guys.
They are working hard, and I have to say that in 3 days we have received requests for 5,000 masks. So obviously our little grassroots effort, it's not going to do it to meet the demand. We are looking with bringing in on some partners who are professional sewers and have those industrial type of machines. And with them joining us, we are hoping to be able to, like I said, produce 600 to 700 masks per day.
Look at these ladies just doing.
I know it.
Doing God's work is really what you want to say here. Where are the guys? Where are the guys volunteering their time?
We actually did have a couple of guys. They're not on this shift, but we do have them in a program. Some of them are just sewing the patterns. Some of them are, bringing the fabric in, and we'll start actually putting together kits for folks who want to help out and do it from home. So it's also important to mention that this project is not only helping provide masks for the ones in need, but also the women that you saw in the room. They're all hourly employees who got really hit harsh during this situation. So with the help of grants and private donations, we're also able to pay them for the work performed.
That's fantastic.
Having a little problem connectivity with Brad, just so you know.
Well, we got good footage from Brad, and Slavica was doing the good play-by-play there. So I think we got everything we wanted as far as the production room. So guys, everything, unfortunately, everything in life, there's a dollar amount for things. We've got to pay folks, materials, however that looks. How much does it cost to buy a mask, and where can you get it, or are you just donating them to food service? Who are you donating them to?
We do have, because like I said, we pulled this together in a week. We have a Facebook page. It's Colorado Sewing Coalition. So folks can go there, and there they can either sign up to volunteer, they can sign up to order masks, or they can make a donation that directly links to Highlands United Methodist Church website. As far as the cost, it was very important to us to keep these masks affordable. That's why we are doing so much of fundraising. So currently we are selling them for $3 a piece, which is really affordable. And if you get more donations and more grants, we are hoping to be able to give many of those for free to folks who cannot afford them.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Brad?
Yes, sir.
Where do you go with that? I mean, that's kind of just the mic drop.
It is. I mean, this entire project is about caring for the community, allowing community relationships to take care of relationships in the community. For me, that's what it's about every single day. I know that's what it's about for the folks that are in here working. It's about taking care of people and their own families. This is just essential work. And I love how grassroots it is. Mm-hmm. About people. And in this case, as someone who is more newly elected, it's amazing to sit on a phone call with all these elected officials from North and West Denver and watch how thoughtful and caring they are in making sure that every person in our neighborhoods is cared for.
I'll tell you what, it just really struck me when you said that, Pastor, that when this happened in the Modern Eater's mechanism of being able to reach people and disseminate information, it wasn't it was a let's do it. It just that was it. And the same thing rang true with you guys of like, we actually have purpose. Let's do what we do best.
I mean, I'm one who loves how busy my building is, right? The building where I work is always hustling and bustling. There's always something going on. And right now we can't do that. And in fact, one of the local news stories talked about how this project is in what would be otherwise an empty church. And that phrase just broke my heart, right? Like the idea that our building wouldn't be filled with people taking care of folks. I can't imagine.
Absolutely. Anything else you guys want to add?
Just that we would love to continue this as long as there is a need, and just asking folks to help out in any way they can, and also reach out if they cannot afford masks. So it's really twofold. And we are also trying to work with the restaurant industry as well, and King Soopers and other essential businesses that still have to stay in business, but we want to make sure that they have as much protection as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And just really honored to be a part of this amazing group. Brett and his team, Councilwoman Ortega, Jamie Gillis, and all the partners that we have mentioned. It's just been, it's a perfect example of good people realizing how interconnected we all are and that we need to rely and help each other out.
Just another reason why we're in love with you. We love you, Slavica. Doing a great job. and thank you, Bradley. That just giving us that tour, being able to see that, and know that you're moving the needle and making a difference. What an honor! Thank you so much, sir.
Very grateful to be with you. Thinking about the folks, your audience. As someone who was the president of the Merchants Association on 32nd Avenue, who has I just want to offer one more word of hope and care for all the folks who are running their restaurants, who are trying to take care of their business, but also their employees and thinking long term, to just know that I'm very grateful for the hard work. I look forward to being back in your establishments. And between now and then, I'm very happy to see you at the door and take the food home.
Can I get an amen?
Darn right you can.
Amen.
Thank you, guys. We'll catch up soon. Keep doing that great work. I really appreciate it.
For having us.
That's so cool, Jay. That was a good one.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you what. The more we do this, the more you realize, how many awesome people there are in your community that you maybe didn't really realize before, I guess you could say.
Great show so far today, and it was really cool. 2:15, we caught up with Andres Chaparro and Andrea Martinez, Rola Urban Colombian Food. I think I sound weird when I'm trying to say something kind of in an ethnic way. I do?
Yeah.
La Rola.
Yeah.
Let's hear you say it.
La Rola.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's easy. But here's the thing, though. I mean, that's just.
And you sound weirder.
Well, I think
more weird.
I think weirder works. I think I sound weirder to you because I don't look like I should do it.
Why do I sound weird?
Well, I mean, you don't sound weird.
You just said, yeah, you do.
Yeah, that's a lie. I told the truth the first time. I lied the second time. Well, okay, let me
Bob Pease from the Brewers Association joined us at 3 p.m. The Brewers Association and President and CEO. Why? Weird why again?
Weird why what? What's the question?
Why did I sound weird saying La Rola?
Oh. Well, no, you don't sound weird saying La Rola. Right, but you sound. I get anybody would sound weird if they're. Put it this way, I'll explain.
I know why I sound weird. I just want to hear you quantify it.
Because it's weird. Because if you just say La Rola, in my mind, that's
better, right?
That doesn't sound weird because you're just doing what's in your capability.
Just a white guy saying La Rola.
Right. If you're trying to say it with an accent, but you can't say it with an accent, then you shouldn't try to say it with an accent. Okay. It's like trying to talk to somebody in Spanish using a Hispanic accent in English. You know what I mean? Like trying to. I get it.
Yeah. Okay. I get it. That's Zach Johnston. How do you say La Rola? That sounded good.
Oh, hold on. Let me get him on. Let me get him on the.
Did that go
camera
over?
Here? No, here we go. It does. There he is.
La Rola. Say La Rola. Yes. Yeah, maybe that's it. La Rola. Did that sound better? Zach, we're not supposed to be laughing right now.
Yes, we are. That's part. I mean, that's part of what's happening. Like you have to. I mean, you can't not laugh. If you're not laughing, through this whole time and everything is business, you'll go insane.
Day 21 or day 22 out of 57. So this is the fourth week. We're going on 4. This is week 4 since dining rooms have been shut down in Denver and the Front Range. Out of 57, 36 days to go. May 11th is that target date. It's a Monday. That'll kind of be like opening day and St. Patrick's Day and 4th of July. And it'll be every day in one if it actually happens. But do you think, Zach, the Spice Guy, you think people will flood right back into dining rooms or proceed with caution? That's interesting that you looked at it from an economic standpoint rather than just a safety standpoint of like people are they're really, scared S-less right now. We're on the street. Well, I think here's something for sure. People are going to look at each other a little differently now. Now the norm is, I went to Natural Grocers yesterday. The norm is that you wear a mask, right? Now you're like, oh, people are looking at you because you're not wearing a mask, not because you are wearing one. So I just have to kind of imagine, okay, here comes May 11th. What's the new normal of how people feel and distance and safety? It can't all just go back into we're cool, let's pile in at a bar, bar stools right next to each other and table for 12, please.
Zach, we can't hear you. I just realized that. So I don't know why.
Zach, can I hear you? Yeah, I hear Zach. It's got to be our room because we've been doing this with the past.
Hold on a second. Guests. Do a check 1, 2, Zach.
He's right there.
No, it's not coming through. So jump out of the room and jump back in. I know you got a wireless headset on, and I'm not to say that that's what it is, but
it's not Zach because I can hear him. It's us.
You can hear him.
I can talk. I can have a conversation.
I know, but he's not
right
going
now.
through this. He's not coming
I get
to
that,
the
but
stream.
That's not Zach. That's us.
Well, the fact that nothing changed, that we could hear Slavica.
Zach,
and
all right,
Brad.
there he's going.
I mean, I'm not the smartest man in the world, but
well, if I can hear him, that means that he's okay. I want that conversation.
What
do you think
we can do? I mean, let's get into an argument on the air. That way, doctor can.
We don't need to because when it comes to technical stuff, who's always wrong and who's always right?
Well, yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you that for that argument. Go.
There's no argument.
Well, but there is.
How?
Because he's not coming through on the stream.
That means that we need to reconnect our thing over here.
I mean, I can.
It's got to be
power down us and
it's never you
us.
or us. It's everybody else. Okay, let me do a live. This is when you do a tap dance. And, Rebecca Berry from 4th, right? I've got this here somewhere.
Yeah, do that.
She has got, there's Zach again. Zach, be patient. Now I'm doing a live and talking about Rebecca Berry. Where is that? Dang it. The wheels are coming off.
You don't need paper to talk about Rebecca.
You got Zach back?
I think I did.
Zach's back?
Zach's back.
You hear him?
Well, here's the thing. I hear him. I heard him before. But when I hear him on the stream, then that's when I call bullshit on what you told me. Because if I can hear him on the stream and nothing changed, then that was Zach's end.
Is Zach in?
Well, I'm about to find out.
Okay. Microphone check 1, 2. Welcome to Amateur Hour at the Modern Eater. How you guys doing?
Good.
Yeah, now he's on the stream. All right. So your computer sucks. I'm a super genius. Continue.
Good work, Jay.
Thanks.
Zach, I have to apologize for that because it's definitely us on our end. But okay, let's dig back in. So the mindset of the culture of folks, come May 11th, as we were talking about it, do you think folks are just going to want to flood back into bars and restaurants, sit next to each other, breathe on each other, kiss and hug and high five and table for 10, table for 12?
This is extreme. This is an extremely morbid way to look at this, but I honestly think that a finalized body count is going to determine that more than anything. What we end up with in terms of mortality here in America is probably going to play a pretty big factor in that. If we keep it at a number, I don't know, it sounds ridiculous to say, if we keep it at a number like 100,000, that's a flu year. Are people not going out during January and February because they're afraid to get the flu? I'm not sure. I think that the comparison of the two isn't always exactly fair, but I think that Denver in general, man, we love to be outside, and let's face it, a lot of our houses weren't built for us to stay inside of them.
I just wonder if restaurants are going to be inundated the way I'd like to see them be, or will it take some time? You kind of tip your toe into the water, tiptoe back in, and then do you think we'll see new rules and regulations on like seating? Every other seat, and
we saw it at the beginning, right? We saw that at the at the beginning of the end. There we had every other table. New York City mandated every other table a week before they went down.
Mm-hmm.
So perhaps coming out of it, there will be some regulation. I think the number one thing that bars and restaurants are going to want to do is get people in to buy liquor and drink liquor and beer and everything else to get that cake back up some. They got to put some money in the coffers. And, I think the PPP loan that all came out as the regulations changed again this morning. So some things are different already. But I don't think it was the most hospitality friendly program that we could have rolled out or had rolled out to us rather. A lot of the bills on there are negligible for a restaurant owner. I think we've talked about it with Juan Padro. We've talked about it with a number of different people about how expensive it is to get the ball rolling again. Troy was a person that laid it out specifically with numbers. And, I think you and I have spoke a lot about what a 5-item menu looks like for a lot of these restaurants. What can you do? How creative can you be with 3 proteins and 5 vegetables? And at the end of the day, do people care what they're eating once they're out? I think people just really want to be out and in a community again.
I wonder. Where restaurants are seemingly so creative right now, and some of these online menus just look really good. I saw something from the Bindery. I might even want to do this tonight. The sourdough pizza kit had everything you needed in there. It was $18, something like that. You go buy and get it, and so from the creativity standpoint, you're going to have to get creative when these doors reopen. I just wonder, everybody, when it comes to restaurant seating, every single one of those tables or bar stools, it's accounted for. That there's a dollar sign on each one of those. So,
$10,000 per chair, Greg.
Is that what John Taffer says when you're watching Bar Rescue?
No, man, that's an old school number.
That's an old school number. So it's going to be interesting to see. And I hope some of this wild, wild west stuff still sticks. You go into a restaurant or whatever while they're still struggling. Hey, do you want 4 more martinis to go?
Yes, please.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know how that's going to shake free.
I'm with you, man. We sat on the train yesterday and drank beer and nobody said anything to us, including the train operator that saw us.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know how responsible that was of you to do.
I mean,
anything goes. So
we look like scumbags, so no one's really that worried about what we're doing.
Oh, you're digging in right now, man. It's SBA or PPP or PYT, pretty young thing. Which one's your choice?
That's a dangerous question. So we did the PPP today.
Yeah.
I put in for it at like 9:15 in the morning. I was lucky enough to have all my ducks in a row.
Now go slow. What does that mean by put in for it? And who'd you put it into?
Or
where'd you put it in? Right. Be the better thing.
I could show you better. You have to go through your local bank, and we've been banking with our bank partner since the beginning of our company. So we went through First Bank and we put it in through their SBA portal, which is just their loan portal. Today was the first day that the application was available. Before, it was just a sample application, and that was just so you could get everything that you would need in a row, all set up, ready to go. They had the calculator on there so you could figure out exactly your average of your salary average over the course of 12 months for your entire team. And honestly, like it's involved. I would hate to be a guy that had to work the line this morning and figure that out at the same time. And unfortunately, I think that's probably what 90% of our restaurant friends were doing.
How about someone who English was a second language?
Impossible.
Yeah, that was part of the conversation we were having with Andres Chaparro this morning. Just weeding your way through these. So like you have to be super intelligent. You got a cool attorney that actually said, "Hey, you can't afford my time right now, but here I am."
Yeah, my attorney has turned up in a huge way during this whole pandemic. He called on the Monday of the shutdowns and just said, "Dude, I know you can't afford this right now. You have an hour of my time for free," which is usually just south of $500 an hour. And he listened to me bitch and moan for an hour and try to work through this and what that all meant. And it was still so new. I didn't have very many questions yet, as much as I just had how do I do this? How do I, it was more of it for me was people are bouncing me checks. What do I do? How do I control this? What are my options? Which is zero at the moment.
At that moment, right?
Yeah, and it just went back to Little Rich. Like compassion was the name of the game at the moment. Mm-hmm. But for the loan stuff, like it's intricate. You have to. We use a few different systems because we pay all of our payroll with an app called Gusto, which is a Denver-based payroll company. And so, we're in QuickBooks, and then we're in Gusto, and then we're in 2 other programs to find the other information, and you're trying to file down 914 forms and, all this stuff that you have literally never needed to find this stuff until today. So going through and tracking it all down, it can be a bit of a pain.
So form check, right? You put some of this stuff on the service. What do I have here?
The food service emergency. Yeah, I put some stuff on there.
Which was fantastic, and thank you. But a checklist, right?
I was going to put a video of myself up there doing a bunch of stuff no one cares about.
Okay. You can if you want to. But that's look at that extensive checklist.
Yeah, it's deep dive. But this whole thing is a deep dive. That's all it really is there's no, in terms of Wild West comment, it's the same again with this. There's no personal guarantee that you have to put on this, and you're not getting charged anything from the bank or the government. There's a 1% fee if for whatever doesn't become forgiven, a 1% interest rate, which is nothing.
So who qualifies? Anybody? A newborn baby?
You have to have been in operation before the 15th of February of this year.
Wait, start over. That was really weird. So start over from when I said who qualifies.
Okay, so an applicant in operation on or before February 15th of 2020. So that is like the most broad piece of this whole thing. You also have to be in a situation where the current economic instability is going to make a necessary call for you to be getting funding during this time. So if you're a tech company that is killing it, you're not going to get this money. And the funds need to be used to retain workers and maintain payroll. You can also use it to pay mortgage payments, lease payments, utility payments as specified by the PPP. One more piece of this that came out today is that the unforgivable piece of this will be able to use to pay interest on loans that you already have. So you can use this money to keep up with the interest on loans that you are already. So if you own a machine and you're paying it off bit by bit, the interest could be paid off with this. However, that part of this will not be forgiven, but it'll be charged to you at only 1% instead of whatever you've negotiated yourself into. We have to have all of these full-time equivalent employees documented on a payroll. And that all needs to be in some kind of professional looking system so that you can send it over in one nice attachment to your bank. And I think the most interesting part of all this is how vague the forgigness is. And I say interesting.
That's what I was just looking at. Yeah.
I say interesting and I mean scary as if, so the Spice Guy's going to take on 6 figures of cash for this. We own 0 debt right now. We've never taken a loan from anybody on anything. So for us to do that willy-nilly, especially, you had 15 minutes to read over this. And I think that the pressure was on, to be honest, because you saw banks like Wells Fargo last week saying, hey, yeah, on Wednesday, they're saying, hey, we're going for this. Put it in. Let's do it. And new regs come out Friday morning, and Wells Fargo says, oh, never mind, we're pulling out, we're not doing that. Which, it's a huge lender, right? And granted, they've had a lot of missteps in the past, and if you're still banking with Wells Fargo, you've overlooked a lot of nuances about your industry and what you're up to. But there's a lot of people in that boat. There's people that bank with Wells Fargo. I used to be one of them. All that being said, I talked to my banker 4 times over the weekend, and to get a hold of a banker on a Sunday is basically a miracle. But I talked to him 4 times, and every day he even twice a day, he said, dude, everything's changing by the hour. things are coming out that you never saw about this. And this morning, one other thing that did change was the grace period of this loan could now be extended out to a year before you have to pay it back, which is a little bit more of a hospitality friendly piece of this.
Okay. So the first thing is the loan calculator. How do you determine how much you want to borrow? And then, of course, if you don't spend it, do you give it back? What do you do with that?
So the piece of that is like the most interesting part about all this for me, only because of how confusing it is. And when you go and like First Bank has the calculator you can download onto your computer, which I did, and it actually gave me a different number than my payroll software gave me. My payroll software was a few thousand higher, so I'm going to go with that one. That being said, you calculate the payroll in any given month, and we're 2.5x plus some other incidentals.
But who wouldn't want to sit on free money with no points and just have a surplus of cash to do for all the what ifs?
Yeah, I mean, even at one point, which is the unforgiven piece. And that's what we said: go for the most amount of money possible and figure it out later. Like none of us have cash right now in our businesses, so to get anything in there is going to be amazing. And hopefully it lets the money flow. You're going to have to prove where you put it at the end of it. And there's this rider in here about 8 weeks of time. You'd have to retain your employees for 8 weeks of time after you got the cash to do so. And that is of the loan, because you need to prove that you brought the equivalent that you had before you were done back. So for easy numbers, if your payroll every month is 50 grand average, you're going to get 125, and you need to spend at least 100 of that on your employees.
How long to process? And then, at that point in time, I guess one of the things that strikes me right now is a buddy of mine's a banker for a large bank here in town. And he said, we treat these as products. We get products all the time. They sell products through their banking structure. And these products don't have the infrastructure in order to roll them out properly for the influx of folks that are going to apply for these. Was there any indication that the infrastructure, that your loan would be expedited, and in what point in time, or was there any feeler out there at all for that?
There was nothing. I think the only advice they give you was, if you hold your breath, you'll turn purple, and maybe stark white after that. But I don't think that anybody knows about time or any of that yet.
They're not giving you a turnaround time of when everything's sufficient and you've dotted the I's, crossed the T's, you're ready to go. You get an answer in so many days. No,
the attorney seems to think that it's going to go pretty fast. He's on the opposite spectrum of what I think. I think banks are going to drag their feet, because from a banking perspective, what a shit product. You get 1 point maybe on this to go out and lend out a lot of your cash. I'd be, especially in a time when the market is doing what it's doing, people have less cash than ever in the last maybe half a decade, and people are much more concerned with where it is. And I think people are pulling it out. So the banks have what seemingly would be less money than they have in the last 5 years, and they're giving all this away at a point maybe, and most likely 75% of it at 0 points. It's a bad product for a bank. It's a great product for a business like mine if my client base comes back, and that's a big if. And we've been seeing the numbers come in through the CRA that upwards of 15% of restaurants will not reopen ever. How interested are people going to be to open a new space in that now dead unrented space? I think that goes back to your point where, how eager is anybody going to be to jump into a new business,
well,
pivot or not?
And you can't help but wonder, and obviously people need to be calmed, and on a federal level, if something wasn't initiated, you can't help but wonder, is this a knee-jerk reaction to something that needs to be really examined much further than what's presented to us? And, with that being said, the folks that study economics and understand what it means to have this much money that infused into our economy that didn't offer a service or a product for it, how that sends hyperinflation and makes this a fiat currency that I don't think many people understand.
I don't think people have looked that far ahead, to be honest with you. I think a lot of people can see the end of their nose at the moment, and that's it. And that's not, and I'm in that group where it's, how do we get what we need to keep these doors open until what we all keep calling the other side of this. And the other side seems like summer, but you keep hearing all of this about the fall, like what's going to happen in the fall. Is this going to make a resurgence? And I think the biggest uncertainty for me is the fact that there's really no calculator for what, at X number of containment, we're going to open things back up, or at X number, we're going to reclose them once they are opened. And I think that is detrimental to a business and an economy and everything in general, that has to do with money. Just the uncertainty. Wall Street is a perfect example of what uncertainty what it looks like, and it's so fast. The swings are crazy. A 5,000 dip is that's an insurmountable dip. It's like your credit, right? You just got a car. If you don't pay that loan 1 month, your credit's going to take a huge dip. It does nothing.
You're not, any pushback on something right now when it comes to relief just seems like, you're dead inside, or you don't have a heart, and folks we've seen some amazing pivots. Some folks that are winning in the restaurant industry, probably doing better than they ever have. Which
I've got a few of those. Yeah.
It's not the norm, but it's there. But what would stop folks like that from taking advantage of this, because they're in that category? They're deemed service industry or a restaurant. You should have a hit. There's going to be a lot of folks that take advantage of these things that don't even need them. Good,
and
bad,
I think that might be what your buddy is talking about in terms of lack of infrastructure, is that and it's the same with unemployment, who is going to be able to dig into all these applications to see the real story? Anybody can fudge numbers to make it look like things aren't doing well. That's very simple. And I think it's, it was the same with guns. Like if you wanted to buy a new pistol at the middle of March, it was a 5-day wait to get your 20-minute InstaCheck. And they were bringing people from every other department in the government to do InstaChecks. Any felon could have gotten a gun as long as it was harder to find if you're, anything. It's just the infrastructure is not there, obviously, with unemployment, with relief, with PPP, with the banking system, which is why the SBA is on the news on Friday saying this is all rolled out. This is great. The Secretary of Treasury is up there with a giant smile on his face like he accomplished something. And meanwhile, Citibank is walking into a meeting with our president saying, what the hell are we doing? We don't have a clue where to start with this. And we're just supposed to process all these applications. Like, sure, we'll process them. And then what? They're going to sit in an email bank for who knows how long. So, like I said, there's a million ways to paint it to look like you're struggling. And I think a lot of restaurants will do so, or not even restaurants, just industries will do so. And some of these guys that are crushing, no, they'll remain nameless, but they don't necessarily need this at the moment for their group. But yeah, why not take it at one point? What's the downfall?
Yeah, what is the downfall? It's going to be interesting to see as this, we've kind of looked throughout the weeks of first week being the shock of it all. Everybody in shock. The second week is just kind of, where's your footing who owes you what, where am I at with my business? What are my receivables versus my payables? Then it gets into, the week of hurry up and wait. What kind of relief will be available to us? Now I think people, they're over the shock. They went through the who owes me money, who do I owe money to, and then here's what's available as far as relief. And now we're into the, okay, what's my master plan going forward? And I still think that there's a few pieces of the puzzle that haven't reared their face yet.
It's money week every week, really. I mean,
yes, it is.
Last week, you can call it money week because rent was due, but nobody paid. Everybody's waiting for their landlord to tell them, don't worry about it, which no one is. And yeah, now it's okay. And now you have a good grasp on exactly how much money you have or don't have and how much you are. Well, restaurants probably not owed any money, but from a food service distributor standpoint, who owes me what? Where do I have to pay? What bills can I pay to keep going? And what bills can I put off that I don't necessarily need to do right now? And from a person that does not pay late and has historically paid every bill I've ever been given, not always on time, but eventually always. It's a defeating conversation to pick up the phone and call any vendor and say, dude, I don't have cash. Like, if you can take a credit card, we can max my credit cards out and I'll do that. But that's only going to last so long. And how much personal liability I want to put into an uncertain market is a whole nother conversation.
Mm-hmm. Wow. It's going to be, Travis Smith says, my understanding is banks get 5% from origination of the loan, but it doesn't come from the borrower.
Hey, Zach, you ever eaten at Abrusci's Fire and Vine?
I think he does business with Marvin over there. Maybe.
Can you hit me one more time?
Yeah, man. You're gonna have to put when all the dust
He's
settles,
setting up our next guest.
You got to
Abrusci's.
You're gonna have to put a call in for your internet, man, or restart your modem. Abrusci's Fire and Vine. You ever eaten over there?
Dude, Marvin is my boy.
Isn't he?
The look on Zach's face when you were like, get your internet checked. He's like, dude, don't worry about my internet. I'm trying to get a loan in here.
Well, dude, we're all in freaking cement buildings covered in tin on the top. We get the best. We pay way too much for internet to have it not work. No, Marvin's my boy. If you guys have never been to Abrusci's over here off of I-70, this is one of the best family food restaurants that I've been at, and Marvin will sit you down and give you the bacon plate, the bacon flight, and it's a treat.
It's worth admission. Can you see Marvin right now?
Yeah, he looks gorgeous.
Talk about that. Just one thing I wanted to add to that conversation, Zach, is as we try and have business conversations daily, is that there is life after COVID, and as we look at 36 days to go. Probably you need to spend this next 36 days looking to when you're going to regain that footing. And guys like Little Rich right now, you know what Little Rich is doing right now?
Changing cars.
He's laying down concrete because there's never been a time to where Rockalita's factory was able to finish some of the floors that they have inside of that manufacturing operation. I think people should be looking at their infrastructure as well.
The boy is a beast, and that's the plan for the second half of this closure, is to completely redo our facility again for the 17,000th time because we're always outgrowing it.
I know. Zach, thank you, brother. We're going to talk to Marvin here.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
Love you, Zach Johnston, the Spice guy right there. And yeah, I think Abrusci's Fire and Vine, we have Marvin. How are you, Marvin Williams?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Well, good. Now I get to see your face. It's been a while.
I know it has been. Sorry, I got the mask on, but doing what we can.
You have the governor asked you, and he told you to be creative too when you made your mask. And it looks like it says Fire and Vine on your mask.
I got a very creative wife, so she made them for the whole staff.
What'd she make them out of? And let me take a guess and say Fire and Vine T-shirts, or no, she stitched that on there.
Yeah, yeah, she did a little cricket action and sewed them up, and they're awesome.
That's pretty damn cool. Okay, so here we are at Abrusci's, and we are mid-COVID, and you guys decided you're going to stay open and have some curbside and delivery, but you got a revised menu. And
Correct.
I'll let you take it from there, Marvin.
Well, so we're doing a lot of things. As soon as we found out that all this was happening, worst day of my life, having to lay off most of my staff. Just unbelievable what we had to go through, like everyone else. And we had to decide what we were going to do to stay open, because you couldn't just sell just to-go food and expect to make it work and stay afloat. So we got creative. We started to do meal kits, which I'm going to show you here in a second. So we've got these meal kits that are designed so you can order it up, take it home, cook it yourself. It's going to be almost like a home fresh, but we've done the sauces for you, so it's really just a heat. Some of them you cook the chicken, then you can put it in the fridge, you can put it in the freezer, have it for a few days later, and it's all set to go. So that's been a really good avenue for us. And then we've also done grocery items. So we have a little grocery items that we do. So we're able to do some eggs, flour. We've got gluten-free hoagies, from gluten-free things. We've got some meat packages, all that kind of good stuff. So we're just trying to get creative and doing different things. And then we've got the alcohol side. So it was really great to be able to sell alcohol to the consumer. And so we have Trey made them a little quick. Sorry about that.
Hey, man, he made them quick because we drink them quick. That's how we do it around.
True. So what's really good is, for instance, Rocker, one of the, huge supporter of ours, supporter of yours, just a great product. So what we did was we took a couple of their cocktails, their Rocker, we made it in a stay and play cocktail form, and we sell these 750 milliliters. A few of our other good suppliers that help out, and we're able to sell those. You can take them home, put them in your fridge, drink them at your leisure. And so that's really nice. They're batched, ready to go cocktails. We've got some good local beers that we're trying to make sure that we, protect those small guys. Coda Brewing, New Terrain, Westminster Brewing, where they're trying to make it work as well. And so we're only offering those local guys, not the big boys, not the Heinekens, the Peroni, all that. We're just trying to stick with local, supporting local.
Damn it, you're it, Marvin.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You and your team, that's it, man. You got it going.
So, all of that, I'm able to get everybody going, keep everybody employed. We got a lot of action going on in the kitchen. Typically, we've got a lot of prep going on. I mean, it's really nice to be able to have work for all these guys. Typically, I have about 60 employees. We had to lay off about 50. And because we were able to maintain a good business, we were able to hire back about 10 of them. So I got 20 people working right now.
Yay, that is so cool.
Yeah.
The more things you can find for people to do, the more jobs you can make.
Exactly. We're teaming up with a couple different people. The Denver Feed It Forward. We're working with them to feed a couple hospitals. They'll do like 50 from donations. They'll order up a little bit over cost, like 50 meals, 50 lunches that we'll be able to supply to a hospital. Keeps us in business and supplies it for those people on the front lines. We're also doing probably about twice a week. We donate to the ER hospital at St. Anthony's and Lutheran to be able to give them a little break from things. Just trying to do whatever we can to not only help the community, but help our fellow employees and just make it work. Because we're going to be here when it's all over.
Abrusci's, if you haven't been to Abrusci's, well, you're not going to get the full experience now, but you are going to get a delicious meal box. Italian menus open up with a savory starters like garlic knots, antipasta, and the best damn bacon board. Their lunch menu includes everything from burgers, sandwiches, salmon tacos to a variety of salads and gluten-free options from our buddy John Irvin. But when you really want some hearty Italian fare, go there for their wood-fire pizza and pesto chicken, the carne or the Florentine with roasted garlic, sun-dried tomato, artichoke, prosciutto. For pastas, try the linguine and clams, shrimp scampi. You guys just do it all, but those meal kits look so good. Which one would you get, Jay? First of all, Marvin, tell us what's in the meal kits again.
All right, so you have our famous rigatonian sausage. Now that we did the sauce for you. Got the sausage in there. The basil is on the outside, just so you're going to heat up the sauce. Cook the noodles. Add the basil. So really nice and simple. 15 minutes, you're good to go.
Where does the sausage come from?
The sausage comes from Western Meats.
Western.
So
okay.
Western
know
Meats
those
has been around for about 35 years. You guys know Damon, and he just does all of our meat.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he's incredible.
Okay.
Speaking of the meat with the chicken, so we do the poblano chicken you talked about. So same thing. So the sauce is all done up for you. Cook the chicken, add the sauce, cook the pasta. You're set to go. So in a matter of 20 minutes, you're able to have a meal that you don't have to take an hour to cook, but it's going to be like you cooked it yourself.
Yeah, and also you don't have to go out and buy a ton of ingredients to where you don't use them all, but you need the pesto. You need all these certain ingredients. You get that right there, and you're not spending $60 for everything.
Well, hey, Marvin, what pops in my head, and maybe you do this already. Is this meal option something you guys did before the shutdowns also? Or is this something that maybe you're kicking around, holding on to as an option for 43-year-old bachelors like me that goes, listen, I kind of want to cook for the girl that's coming over tonight.
I will tell you that no, we didn't. Out of necessity is where a lot of these things come about. We will continue them after all this is done, though, because it is such a good idea.
Yeah.
So we will continue that. So we got it for 2 people and for 4 people.
That's far out.
Nice.
What are the rest? Sorry, we interrupted you as we were salivating over the first 2.
The chicken marsala. So you can make chicken marsala at home. You can cook it, cook the chicken, add the marsala sauce. We got the side items. We got instructions for each. And then we've got our penne with meatballs and sausage. And then we're also working on a couple other ones. So you were talking about the salmon tacos. We're working on that. Potentially doing something with
you got to do a pizza kit to send home.
We did a pizza kit, and it didn't go off extremely well.
Really?
But we did that, where we have the dough where you could, make it at home. We got the semolina, flour, and all that stuff. But doesn't mean we won't bring it back.
You're open to anything.
Because it's one of those things where you try something, you don't want to extend yourself too much because you don't really have a whole lot of resources to be able to make in this time. So we'll try it, and if it doesn't work, we'll try it again.
That's right. Usually, what time is it? 4:34. We're ramping up. Probably a happy hour would be going on. A beautiful spring day, 72 degrees outside. Abrusci's fire and vine. I know. Go walk out to that patio and sit down. Let's see where. I want to see where I wish I was right now. Oh man, get ready, you guys.
And it's just, and today's just one of those days. I mean, just an amazing day out. Normally we've got a nice fire pit.
We've done a show right around there.
Yes, we have. So sitting down here with a nice beer or a nice rocker Manhattan is amazing. So we cannot wait until we get back to normal.
Yeah.
This is the new normal, and we're trying to make the best of it. I will tell you that the staff that I do have, the attitude that everyone has is just truly amazing. The customers that come in, the support, again, it breaks your heart. I mean, we do a tip jar for all of our employees that are not able to work. So all those I had to lay off. And, I've had people call up and say, hey, can you put $500 in that tip jar for me? And it brings you to tears every time something like that happens. You put it in there, and every week I give those guys, divvy it all up, and it's just awesome because most of those guys don't have anything else.
Yeah, here's what I would say, though, Marvin, is that's truly a testament of the ethos and what you guys have done for years at Abrusci's and who you are. because the community outreach, trust me, there are some places that they're not getting that. And that's not to say any knock on them, but this is to say for you guys that this is something that I am so happy to see, that all the hard work that you guys have put in over the years, that there's a little bit of comeback to you guys, because I want to make sure you're there after all post coronavirus.
Yeah. And and this year we're celebrating our 20-year anniversary. So we want to be able to celebrate that, come June. We want to be strong into June and just really enjoy and give back to the community that's given us so much.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
Which one of those would you order, Jay?
I'm leaning towards the Marsala.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Marsala. I used to make it myself. I actually know how to make chicken Marsala from scratch if I had to, but I like Marsala.
How can people order these, Marvin?
They can go on our website. You can order them for pickup. I'm still working on the DoorDash, because I got to put them inside the DoorDash app, and then they can do them for delivery. Give me a couple more days. But they can just go on the website and order straight from there, and then just come pick it up. We are doing curbside. So if you get to the restaurant, give us a call. We'll bring it right out to you. Pop the trunk, no contact, and we'll take care of you. We'll take care of you and be safe at the same time.
I know you will. Here's what I want to do. I'm just going to drive by and see if you can just Frisbee it into my, 10 miles an hour. You think you can do that?
I can. Most definitely. You don't even need to slow down. Well, you got to slow down to get a drink.
Well, I was hoping.
I don't think I can toss the drink.
I don't think you can either. Oh, Marvin, you guys, as much as I would say, I good luck or whatever, but innovation, and you guys are being innovative right now. It was good to see that little write-up that you had in the Denver Post, too, over the weekend.
Yeah, thank you.
Did you see it?
We try. No, I didn't actually, but
okay, there's a write-up. There's a write-up in there. And they even mentioned Crazy John Irvin in the Denver Post.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Hey,
love that guy.
Yeah, while you're here, we always tell people that just wait. You need to get to know John, right? He's an acquired taste. And once you do, you just love him forever. But somebody who's gotten a taste of John and you love him forever, give a shout out to John. Say something nice about him.
John Irving not only is the hardest, he works definitely a lot harder than we do.
Yes.
But there's this commitment to just whatever you need, he's going to take care of you. When we were talking about doing the gluten-free tiramisu and coming up with these innovative ideas, he was like, what do you need? Let's do this. How are we doing on this? He promotes it like crazy. He is truly somebody that wants not just to succeed, but wants everybody around him to succeed. And you just don't see that all the time.
I call him
just a hell of a guy.
He is. I call him the salt of the earth.
Most definitely.
And his jokes
or the gluten-free flour of the earth. The guy's got flour on him all the time.
Oh, Marvin, I can't wait to get you back in the kitchen and see you again. Things will give it. It's people say the new normal, right? This is the temporary normal, and the real normal is getting back and having your friends and high-fiving you. I want to give you a hug, man. It'll happen.
Oh, again. Yeah, most definitely.
It'll happen.
I would agree.
Give my best to the wife and the boys and the whole family, and hang in there. We'll see you soon.
I will. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Abrusci's Fire and Vine. So we stand by. Did you, Jay? You didn't even notice behind you. Did you see we got a delivery?
I did notice. I heard somebody running around back there, but I didn't figure out what it is yet.
All right, I did.
Brian's doing something.
I did John Irvin. Here it is. Rome sausage. I'm glad you asked about the sausage, but meat in a box. Everybody's getting creative. Here's one: a partnership. Through April 6th, 2020. This includes, get ready for this, 2 prime quality New York strips, Centennial cuts out of Fowler. This is a Rome sausage box, if you want to know that, right? It's not just sausage. Now he's got some partnerships. 4 to 5 free-range egg breasts from Mary's Organic. This is quality stuff here, man.
Yeah.
4 half-pound Kobe beef burgers, Buckhead Beef Denver, 1.5 pounds of sirloin kebab, Buckhead Beef Denver, 1 pound of River Bear Heritage Breed bacon. We know Justin Brunson's bacon's good. 4 fillets of salmon, Seattle fish, 4 fillets of wild caught mahi, That's Seattle fish. And all you have to do is order it online at romesausage.com or call 303-296-7663. 303-296-7663. That's a meat in the box. Meat in the box.
Yeah, well, I mean, he says it in his commercial on Saturday's show where it's like, for sausage jokes, you can call that
Rome.
number, because meat in the box, that's kind of just what.
Hey, Brandon Camp, if you're out there, call into
I can send him
hit
a
the
thing
show.
here.
I'd like to talk to you about your box. And then we're standing by from Dr. Sara Metz, Code 4 Counseling. Tomorrow, who do we have on the show?
Stephen Gould from Golden Moon Speak and Golden Moon Distillery. And that's it.
To be announced.
And I'm trying for Jeff Rourke, trying for Matt Cutter from Upslope. And then
tomorrow, National Beer Day.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I just sent Camp the link. You want me to get the doctor on? She's been watching and texting me.
No, we'll wait let me see if I can get Camp, and then we'll get the doctor on. The doctor is usually pretty good with her time. She can. And what are you texting the doctor for?
She texted me, or I texted her saying, like, hey, getting ready to go, just to make sure she doesn't forget. She goes, yeah, something, how's it going today? I said, my energy's a little off. I don't know if it's me,
it's you,
or what. I said, but my energy's a little off.
Really? Are you not feeling well?
I feel fine. Physically, I feel fine. Energy wise, as far as the universe.
Are you running low?
I don't know, man. I don't know if it's, I'm not sleeping well.
You're not?
No, that's tough. I'm not sleeping well.
Are you leaving the window open?
No, but
so here's the thing: you won't go the extra mile to make sure you sleep well.
Well, listen, you act like I don't know how I'm comfortable in my home, right? I'm less comfortable with the window open. So just because you think,
because of what part of town you live in?
Yeah, no, man, nothing to do with that. I don't like the air coming in my bedroom when I'm sleeping.
But that might make you sleep better.
Well,
and if you're sleeping, how do you know air's coming in?
Hey, listen, first of all, I mean, not for nothing, but I've been sleeping as an adult for a while
and
now.
Not well.
So, not well, but it's worse with the window open because I've done both, right? So the lesser of two evils.
What's keeping you up?
Is a game I'm playing.
Money?
I don't know.
Eviction?
Money, everything.
Despair?
Money, lack of money, lack of confidence, lack of energy, lack of sex, lack of pride, lack of self-esteem.
All the lacks.
Yeah,
you got every lack.
I'm starting a website. It's called nolacks.com.
You're lacking it all.
Yeah, that's where we go.
Oh, man.
Look at this guy.
Shack-a-lack.
Look at this guy on the phone.
Brandon Camp, keeping it safe.
All right. Well, we've got sound again.
Okay, I guarantee I fixed it. Guaranteed. Hey, Brandon Camp, how are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Hello?
I fixed it.
Oh, my God.
I'll fix the problem.
I don't know about it.
I mean, what do you even need Jay for? Jay, just go home.
Well, I need him to push back on everything.
Thank you.
He likes to push back. for no
Where's
reason.
I can't see my picture. What do I look like?
You're coming
Am I in
up.
camera?
You look fine.
Yeah, you're like the only thing that looks good around here.
Just shut
right
up and
now.
talk.
Yeah, just shut up and talk. See that?
That's
Brandon,
the opposite of what my wife tells me.
You're doing good things out there right now, Brandon. I'm staring across the room. I can't wait to go look, but you dropped off I thought it was just one box. There's like 3 boxes here, 4.
I mean, we definitely we had some extra product. We got the meat in one box, produce in the other. Food safety always comes first. And then we've got our other box, which is, the local swag, the Infinite Harvest, the coffee, Spice Guy, Zach Johnston, his product, the Unravel coffee. We've got the Happy Leaf kombucha, edible magazine. That's all in a special box, a little Colorado box, if you will.
So every week the box changes. Do we have a new box this week?
So Wednesday afternoon, and then Thursday the new box rolls out. While supplies last, obviously. I think this week with the local items, we kind of ramped things up a little bit. So we sold more Friday and Monday than we typically did the prior week. So people are showing some local love.
I like the creativeness of folks putting boxes together. And I just read this Rome Sausage is partnering up with some new folks, and collaboration's really where it seems to be right now, Brandon.
Yeah, we got to stick together. There's, we're seeing some of the restaurants come back around. I have today 3 or 4 restaurants have reached out and said, hey, we're going to open back up for takeout. But, it's not going to be enough to keep the local people, afloat. The Infinite Harvest of the world, they're strictly food service. If you're not logging onto their website to do their curbside pickup, there's no product moving.
Yeah, I mean, that's true in a lot of cases. So talk about your collaborations, how people can get this box, and we'll personally guarantee it because we know you and we love you. And then we're going to do something special with it and have some chefs play with your box. That doesn't sound quite right, having chefs play with your box.
Yeah, you cut out a little bit on the first part. What were you saying, the collaborations on it?
Just talk about your box, who and what and how they can get it.
So, yeah, it's super simple. We've got an online portal. If you go to feedtheparty.com, that's our e-commerce site, and search for the Denver Food Box. It'll pull up the box. While you're out there, though, take a peek at the other meat offerings that we have. These will ship direct to your door. We've got an amazing amount of high-end meats on there. But yeah, feedtheparty.com. If you're on Instagram at Denver Food Box, hashtag Denver Food Box, you can find the link in our bio. You can also find pictures and photos of what's in the box this week. We also encourage folks, if you're purchasing the box, share your recipes. This week it's Kyle Biddy from Quality Italian in Cherry Creek. Mm-hmm. Get to work with what Kyle's put together on the recipe side, share it, and hashtag it, Denver Food Box. We want to see what you guys are doing at home with the food box.
Is Chef Biddy going to join us this week via video phone in his kitchen and putting things together?
Yeah, just name the day. He's ready to go. He was excited to potentially come down to the kitchen. Obviously, I
don't know, Jay. What do you think? You think the chef could come down to the kitchen and cook, or should he do it from home?
I don't mind it being here.
He'd be way over there.
Well, that's what I mean. That's a question for him.
And we've got some stuff here.
As far as I'm concerned, it wouldn't bother me, right? And then some people may look at that good or bad as far as like, well, you need to adhere to the things, and it's like,
we are.
I know, but there's been
there's
been a few comments here and there where it's like you and Rebecca are sitting too close, and so
and then we widen.
So we widen it out, and it's like
San Pasquale,
This isn't a perfect world,
Well,
so
I came today and dropped that box, and I wasn't more than 12 feet.
No, that's right. Hey, do reach out to Chef Kyle and see if that's something that he'd like to do tomorrow, and we'll figure out whether it's here or there at your or at your house.
He's on board, so we'll coordinate. But yeah, he's excited. Really great energy from that chef too. I think you guys are going to be impressed. He's a younger guy, and he's gung ho.
Sweet.
So excited to see what he put together.
One more time on how to get a hold of your box.
You can go to www.feedtheparty.com, search Denver Food Box. You can also go to our Instagram account at Denver Food Box. Link is in the bio. Or you know what? I'm going to put my phone number out there, 970-660-7066. Hit me up on my cell phone. I'm more than happy to take care of you and guide you through it.
Wait, they went fast on that one. 670?
7066.
I've also got, point at the bottom. Now, never mind, you're driving. I've got feedtheparty.com is at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah,
so
cool.
if you were just tuning in or hearing Brandon Camp talk about how to find these awesome boxes, there it is, feedtheparty.com.
Feed the Party.
Perfect.
That's cool. Cool website. Thanks, Brandon.
All right, guys. I appreciate it. Have a
Nice
Talk to you soon.
sunglasses,
Yeah.
bro.
I like the sunglasses.
Yeah. Look
Driving,
sharp.
man.
Make sure, I know, man, make sure you look young and attractive to the old guys.
Hey,
You know,
keeping it
they're-
safe out here, guys. We're keeping it
Yeah.
safe.
Yeah, that's right. Bye, Brandon.
Later, buddy.
Brandon
Bye, guys.
Camp. He cut himself out a job, and that's what you do right now. You find your worth.
Mm-hmm.
Joining us right now, Dr. Baby Yoda.
What's new?
What's new with you?
How's
What's
your
buzzing,
Monday?
cousin? You look at you. It looks like you're all professional. You're all dressed up, and your hair is straightened.
Is coiffed. I am coiffed today. I have to work today.
Oh, really? Are you in the office?
I'm in the office.
How is it there?
It's quiet. It's sadly quiet.
Mm.
I got 8 offices, and I'm the only one here.
Aha, the boss.
The boss is making an appearance. Yes.
How was your weekend?
Saturday sucked. Sunday was better. Today is okay.
Why'd Saturday suck? You must have been Bizarro World when you spent, what did you spend, 45 minutes with us?
It made me feel better. Actually, that was the highlight of my day. That made me feel better. No, I had to do a big project, and it royally failed. And so I have to redo the whole thing. And it was annoying. But that was life.
Yeah, that's well. Listen, now I feel guilty that you had a bad day, and then all you did was deal with our bad day.
You guys made me smile, and I was like, okay, I can do this. No, you guys were the bright spot.
Cool.
So,
Jay, okay, doctor's here with us. Dr. Sara Metz, Code 4 Counseling.
Mm-hmm.
You wanted to get her on and tell her your frustration with me because of the technical problems. Do you still feel the same way?
Well, I mean, yeah, here's the thing. So we had a caller earlier, that was on and everything was fine. And then we went to the next one. When we went to the next guest, we couldn't hear them. Now, that's not actually, we could hear them physically as far as Greg and I sitting here, but their voice wasn't going to our stream.
Yeah.
A few people pointed it out, and so we're trying to fix it.
So perfect sense
Greg,
is it's them.
So Greg says, it's a problem with our stuff.
Oh.
Now, the fact that we just went from one guest to the next and nothing on our end has changed, my brain automatically goes to, listen, as much as I think that it's me or us, I'm trying to use basic math, right, in my pill head of a brain, that it's like, well, it doesn't seem like it would be us if it was. And so on their end, he reconnected and then the sound was fine. So seemingly I win, right? I win that argument. Now, things went a little wonky the next time, and Greg restarted our side, and then that fixed the problem we were having with the video part. So
when in doubt, restart.
Basically, it's just the internet, but it's hard to tell if it's on their end or our end. And the time, and put it this way, the reason why I was so quick to blame somebody else is because it's usually my fault or something on our end, and I didn't want it to be that. And in my head, the basic math was saying it was their end.
Yeah, and you felt like he was saying it was your fault, and that hurt your feelings.
Well, not saying it's my fault. I'm used to that, but just implying that it's almost like it makes me. It's not. It doesn't make me angry that he thinks it's my fault. Yeah. It's like it makes me more angry that I tell him that I don't think it's our fault, and he won't believe me. That's how deep it goes. You want to get deep? That's how deep it goes.
Really dig in. Well,
yeah. I mean, and I don't. And at the end of the day, Doctor, honest to God, the hell with it. It could be the internet on our end or their end or both ends, or whatever. The internet just sucks.
Yeah.
I want to hear you two talk.
Greg's just like,
I want to hear you guys
see,
talk.
Here's the problem, Greg. How are you? Are you hearing what he's saying?
No, because there's no doubt in my mind that all of that's wrong. All we needed to do is refresh our browser, and everything was fixed. So
Doctor, so when he says that, it's like, then can you ask him this question? Because I've already asked him. Yep. Ask him this question. If that's the case, Greg, then why, when the spice guy disconnected on his end and reconnected, everything was fine when we did nothing? How does that translate into it being a problem on our side, whether it's me or the software, the internet on our side?
Yeah, Greg.
Ready?
Yeah.
So if we can hear and see things on our end,
yep,
that means there's audio and video coming through. If that translates to our...
Because we heard and saw him on our end, and there was still a problem.
Now, by the way.
Well, I mean,
we digress.
I hate to interrupt, but that's what I'm saying. We could see him and hear him just fine.
And what's happening is you guys are getting stuck in the logistics versus recognize you're burned out, you're tired.
I'm not burned out. I'm ready to go.
But then give him what he needs. And
I do. That's not a mountain I want to die on, Doctor. I'll give.
See how
Jay,
you're
so,
he avoids?
And I do that a lot of times. I do that a lot of times. Jay, you're right, man. That's no problem. Don't sweat. You're right.
He hates it when I'm right. That's what it is. So
I hate it.
He'll make up some weird shit that I don't.
I
even
actually
know about,
root for you. I actually am like, please, God, give Jay just this one thing. Make sure it's Jay.
Code4counseling.com.
Hey, you don't do that. I do that. I change the stuff. Let me be right. Oh, code4counseling.com.
Yeah.
Doctor, so, the theme of today is what Saturday was. And that was you had a bad day dealing with some things, but you still held us up. How do you do that right now to where your tank is empty?
Yeah.
Other people need your energy. Do you build back up, or do you do that at a detriment to yourself?
No, you can't do it at a detriment to yourself. The first thing is you got to be able to admit to it. And I have, over time, gotten to a place where I can admit, okay, that was a complete fail. I have to now reset. Mm-hmm. So I was in a really bad headspace. I was blaming myself. I was just being super negative on Saturday, and it just kept unraveling more and more. And so I said, I got to just call it. Like, this is not going to be a win. I'm going to go do something fun, which was talk to you guys. And then I said, Sunday, I'm going to have to repair and reset so that I can redo all of this. But if you just keep digging yourself into the hole, it's just going to get worse.
And kills your confidence, too.
It does. My confidence was shot. I was thinking, I'm really good at what I do, and I'm bombing this royally. And I'm like, okay, I'm not in the right headspace for it. It doesn't mean I'm bad at what I do. It just means I'm in the wrong headspace. I got to reset. We all get to that point, and that's okay.
Yeah, and it does happen.
Yeah.
You can be very good at what you do,
right,
and
you're still gonna have bad days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you should allow yourself to be able to say, okay, I'm gonna step away, because generally, if you're good at what you do, your confidence comes back organically.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
Jay, she gave you homework. First of all, can you tell us what our homework was, Doctor?
The homework was over the weekend to set your intention and choose something to add, something healthy to add to your week. So not eliminating unhealthy things, not worrying about that, but simply choosing one thing to add that would be healthy.
And so why did we, so people that weren't with us, but why did we feel that was important? You reset us because all we were trying to say is, okay, here's what we need to eliminate.
Yeah.
Get rid of this, get rid of that.
Yeah,
that'll make us better.
And there's value to eliminating the unhealthy things, but people get really stuck in that. And we're already feeling drained, and we're already feeling kind of stuck in that negative headspace. So we're trying to reset that and say, okay, let's gear towards the positive. And part of gearing towards the positive is what can you add to your day and what can you add to your week. So that's kind of just that reset from negative to positive.
Jay?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I added water.
And
so you weren't drinking water?
To drink water. Not really. Okay. I mean, I drink things, but I like flavored water.
Yeah, that's counts.
The carbonated flavored water. What are they called? Those things. So I'm trying to add just regular water because society tells me that it's
And
better.
What does that look like? Like every hour you drink?
Hey, man, it looks like when I think about it, drink some water versus not think about it and not drink.
I haven't seen you drink any water today.
No, I haven't. I've had coffee and
okay. When are you going to start that?
Now I count the tea as water.
Oh, you do?
I do count.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, can you bring me an actual water bottle so it's sitting there and you can count how many times you refill it?
Doctor, I don't have time for this kind of harassment with the whole water bottle thing.
Blah, blah, blah.
I don't have a water bottle, but I will bring a bottle of water.
There you go. And so your goal for tomorrow is bring that bottle of water and at least drink that. If not, refill it once.
Okay.
How much? What's your goal? What's your water goal, Jay? Gallon?
I don't have a goal.
So you don't care about the homework, is what you're saying?
No, I've been doing it. I've been drinking more water. Not today's a bad example.
I'm laughing a little bit. I'm going to get off topic because you guys are talking about not having water bottles. I have one. I have two.
There's water in that?
No, these are all empty. I'm just laughing at apparently I collect them.
Yeah.
I have four all sitting in front of me as we do this interview.
How do we get you to turn to glass instead of plastic?
Oh, good point. That maybe I have to add
glass bottle. Yeah.
You're right.
And it tastes better. Water tastes so much better.
You're totally right. Why have I never? This is why we're friends now.
I know.
Because you tell me things like that. That's helpful information. Who do I get my glass water container from?
I think we can find that for you. Right. But yeah, drinking out of some sealable jars of water.
Yeah, mason jars, something like that.
Love that. Well, yeah, and the water will taste so much better than leaching from that plastic.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Glass it is. That will be my thing.
So, doctor, I actually want to move the needle with mine, right? Instead of just, a little bit more water. So people say exercise, which I think is such an ambiguous, broad statement, right?
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's exercise that I like. I like to throw Frisbee. I like to throw football.
Yep.
So I want to go, I'm going to commit myself to a half an hour a day of an activity that I've renownedly loved my whole life that maybe I haven't been doing right now.
I like it.
So that can be up to and or including drawing. Remember when I talked to you about drawing?
Nice. You did mention that.
I'm going to get down on some drawing again.
I love that.
Creativity. And I'm going to go a step further.
Yeah.
I'm going to draw you a picture, doctor.
I will frame it in my office if you draw me a picture and then give it to me someday.
I will.
It will make an appearance here. I will tell you, I was doing a training one time and somebody spent the entire training drawing me, which I thought was very strange. But
was it Dave Avery?
It might have been. Dave, were you at my training 10 years ago?
Were you drawing?
The entire time. And at the end of the training, they just walked up and handed it to me and left. They didn't tell me who they were or anything. They just handed me a picture of myself.
Did you have clothes on?
At the training, yes, I did. And in the picture.
Yes, good in the picture. Jay, do you like to draw?
I love
Jay's acting like he's very busy right now. He's not making eye contact with me. He's acting. Are you busy right now?
I'm doing a few things.
What are you doing?
Tomorrow's show.
Okay, well,
dialing in the chef that camp wants to get on, or that you want to get on and start cooking.
Do you draw?
No.
Would you consider it? Have you ever drawn?
I mean, aside from like being a kid and like drawing, no, not like artistically or something like that.
Nothing.
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to drawing.
Really?
I don't think it's something that it's like taking a walk outside. It just doesn't appeal to me.
Do you have pens at home? Colored pens?
Colored pens?
Yes.
No, I have regular pens.
Do you have crayons?
I don't have crayons.
Okay. Paints?
I don't have paints.
No paints at home?
No.
Do you want to have a draw off this week? And it's art, so there's no good art or bad art.
Right. I mean,
maybe you'll go, hey, listen, where's my art been? Like, I'm sleeping better now because of my art.
You guys can each draw a fruit basket and start there, and we can judge your art each evening.
I remember being in an art class when I was younger. In school, and I so saying,
did you enjoy it?
Shane fruit baskets. I mean, I don't remember, if I enjoy. I mean,
anything that's creative. I love the fact that you're talking about drawing, and I think there's something about adding something creative to your day because again, that hits that whole different side of the brain. So.
Yeah, I have a hard time trying to find that side.
That creative side.
Yeah.
Like that. Do you like music? Do you like drawing, painting? Poetry.
He loves music.
Yeah.
80s hip hop. Like Belle Biv DeVoe, right?
Well, I mean, I enjoy 90s, not 80s so much, but
Sorry,
90s. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of when it got going. I enjoy it, but it's almost like the more questions that are asked of me, like the more depressed I get. Because like Greg will be like, "Oh, you like drawing? You want to?" I'm like, "No, not really." Oh, you like doing this? Like, nah, not really. I don't really enjoy that. Gardening.
Now's the time. Get that garden.
I know,
you have a beautiful backyard.
I understand that, but I've also been in my home 11 years and haven't set foot on the soil for the most part. So it's almost like I look at it like this, to where I'm like,
I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I mentally go. Listen, I know myself. I know what I like, and therefore, no, I don't want to go plant anything because I know I don't enjoy it, right? But then the other person inside of me goes.
That would be kind of cool. One time we went on a road trip. Right? We visit all these farms and ranches and everything. Jay was convinced he was going to come back and be a chicken farm. He was going to have a chicken coop in his backyard.
I that person. I feel you on that one, Jay.
Well, here's the thing, though, and this is
why.
Love it. Well, no, but this is why a lot of the stuff that Greg says isn't 100% accurate, because he says to you, Jay was hell-bent on starting a chicken coop. It's like, no, Jay wasn't hell-bent on anything. Jay mentioned in a comment, man, I'd put a chicken coop in my backyard and mess around with some chickens. And then you fast forward a year and I was
trying to be supportive friend.
Well, I know, but it's also skewed information to where now the doctor goes, well, Jay, if that's something that's important to you, you should sit there. And it's like, it's not important to me. It wasn't important to me then. It's not important to me now, but we can talk about it, I guess.
Well, let's talk about it. Now
I don't want chickens anymore. And I didn't want them at the time. I made a sentence to have a conversation with you.
Well, we need to address your sleeping, because Jay said to me that I'm not sleeping well and I feel off today. And I said, well, let's switch it up a little bit. Open up your window. He said, no, I don't want to open my window.
I know, because God, that's
it's okay,
and I get
Jay.
frustrated.
Talk to us.
Yeah, no, you're frustrated. Greg's frustrating me. There's where my frustration comes from. Because he doesn't listen. So he brings up the window thing, and I go, yeah, no, that's not for me. Well, you don't know. I said, listen, man, I've slept with the window open. I've slept with the window closed. I sleep better with the window closed than I do with it open. Mm-hmm. So that's how, by logic of deduction,
stuffy in there, though.
I'm not, yeah. Well, it's stuff. It's like he knows. He knows what's better for me than I do, even though technically I live inside of my own brain, and so I know I don't like, broccoli. He'd be like, "No, you like."
How about
broccoli.
essential oils?
Eat more
Jay?
broccoli.
Essential oils in a humidifier.
Is a thing.
It is.
Absolutely is the thing.
Are you open to it?
I have done it.
Didn't work.
Lavender, vanilla.
I have lavender.
What helps you sleep, Jay?
I think I even have vanilla. I have a little miniature humidifier that pumps out the thing, and you put the oil in there, and it pumps it out. I've done that. I mean, truthfully, I don't know if it's how much it's helping or how. I mean. Sometimes I sleep with it, sometimes I don't.
What's keeping you up at night?
I don't know.
Maybe some exercise.
I mean, listen, exercise is definitely something that I know I need. It's just hard to have the energy to do it, I guess, and then somebody will make the argument, man, I can't even, this is like, just
this is the stuff that's helpful though, Jay.
I disagree in a sense that, like, if it stresses you out more, let me ask you this question, doctor. If it stresses me out more to have the conversation than to just not have the conversation, and not to say bury it and act like it doesn't exist, because I've said before on the show and talking to you that I'm completely self-aware of all, or at least, 90% of my problems or perceivable problems. Mm-hmm. I'm aware of them, but to talk about them, sometimes I feel like it does worse, because all I feel like I'm doing, especially with Greg, because I'll tell him something and it's like he just doesn't want to believe it, or he thinks I'm wrong about my feeling.
Or in denial, yeah.
Right? Or, yeah. So it's like, I know that it doesn't go anywhere having a conversation with him. I mean, that's what I know. It doesn't go anywhere on my end.
I guess my thing is that if a problem's identified, that you have an obligation to do whatever it would take to identify, and then help fix that problem. But
Yes,
having
but
a
you're
problem,
fixer, Greg. You're going
I know, but having a problem that you don't fix is just that, to me, that just seems like you're beating your head against the wall.
But sometimes fixers will keep throwing out advice and they'll say, try this, try that, try the other thing. And that can ultimately feel kind of anxiety provoking to the other person because they think, God, you're just telling me it's all my fault. And if I just did these things, then I would feel better. And so sometimes we have to slow down and say, and people don't necessarily want advice in that moment. So you've got to be able to ask, what do you need? How can I support you right now? What do you need? And sometimes it's just, I'm sorry you're having a bad day and I'm sorry you're not sleeping well. If you want some ideas, let me know and I'll look for some stuff for you. But otherwise, I'm sorry your sleep is sucky. And sometimes that's all a good friend can do.
That's interesting. And now I get that and all, but if you're okay, for all intents and purposes, Jay and I are in a relationship, right? I mean, we spend a lot of time together. Yeah. So if you continually hear something from your partner that is bothering them or ailing them, isn't there an obligation for that other person to try and help them along the way for relief? Because it pains me, doctor, to see him hurting.
Yeah.
What's the continual?
The what?
Like, what's the continual thing?
Jay, are you asking him what's the thing you keep that he keeps?
Yeah, that you hate life, that you don't like life, and that you don't rest, and you're uneasy, and you don't feel well.
Yeah, but here's the thing: 99% of the time, I don't bring it up. You ask me, and I tell you, and then therefore you're going like, "Well, do the," and it's like, listen, man, I'm aware of it. I know that I don't sleep well.
So you just let people be miserable, right?
You take on what you can, but you love them either way. Say, oh, I'm sorry.
I think that's true. I think I do that too.
I mean, listen, I show up, I work hard, and I'm not saying that that's all I need to do, but I can't just change. I can't just change the fact that I'm not sleeping well. I mean, I've tried more things than I tell them about because truthfully, I don't want to get into.
Do you have sleep apnea?
A lot of the conversation.
Are you sleeping well? Snoring? Do you need oxygen?
I don't know. I'm the one. I don't know if I'm snoring.
I'll come over and hit you upside the head.
Yeah.
Knock you out at night.
Well,
or
Jay,
maybe go back to drinking, Jay.
If you would like some additional strategies, we can go through what things you have tried, and I can see if there's any other ideas we might have for how to help you sleep better.
Well, thank you.
That's what.
I'd be happy to have that conversation with you.
That's where it's at. See, I don't say things properly.
I'm glad I didn't have the camera on me when I rolled my eyes.
She said that very. You did roll your eyes.
I know, I did. And I'm calling myself on it. The first thing I did was check to see if it was on camera and see if I had to admit to it. And then I wasn't on camera, but I still felt guilty that I should say that I rolled my eyes. And I don't roll my eyes, doctor, truthfully, whether you believe me or not, I don't roll my eyes because of what you said. I roll my eyes, and it's almost like at myself because I know exactly what you're saying, and I understand it.
Yeah.
And I get it, and you're absolutely right. And the way you say it is obviously better than the way Greg says it, right?
Well, and I don't look like her either.
But I also see both avenues of that you're trying to help and she's trying to help, right? But then inside of my head, I'm just like, I don't need either one of you to say it because I'm already aware of it.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that means.
By a lot of times, other people have tips and tricks that help for them, and you can take them or leave them or whatever. Doctor's probably got a checklist.
I do have a checklist. I'm actually going to do a training tonight on sleep hygiene.
Are you really? Sleep hygiene. Why do you word it that way?
I don't know. That's kind of just the way it's thought of.
Hey, listen, I'm clean when I sleep, all right? Just for the record.
But I think it helps people recognize you have to have, again, physical hygiene, cleanliness hygiene, sleep hygiene. Like you actually have to actively engage in getting good sleep. Like there's specific things you have to do to try to make sure that you protect your sleep quality.
Now, I think I said that, but probably in just a way where he doesn't want to listen to it.
Well,
because I guarantee, doctor, I could write down 10 things, and here's what it would be. It would be open the window, get some fresh air coming in, maybe unwind with a nice warm shower beforehand so you just feel nice and clean. Clean sheets, always great to have. Nice made bed, some essential oils through a humidifier.
Yep.
Correct. Any kind of distraction in your room, no TV on, no lights. Make sure that it's dark as well. And then maybe a little bit of just that good old-fashioned meditation and breathing.
Yes.
And I think I
Not
think
the
that
hot shower. Don't do the hot shower. You're raising
Why?
your body temperature. You don't want to work out before bed, and you don't want to take a hot shower because you're raising your body temperature. You actually want to cool things down. All of the rest of that was good.
But
Well,
Jay, would
see,
you
here's
do
the
it?
thing.
Would
He
you do it
disagrees
though?
with that.
Would you ever just do that?
First of all, I mean, I do.
You don't want to
I
sleep
do
better,
90%
do you?
of what
love
she
pain,
said.
don't you?
Yeah.
You know, I do about 90% of that. Now, I sleep better with I have a little sound maker that's the ocean or the something. I traditionally sleep better with that. Every now and again, I wake up and it sounds kind of weird, and I feel like it's doing something in my brain. So
But
I turn
you get
it
the
off.
night sweats too. You've told me that. I never asked you. Do you get the? You told me. You said, Greg, I get the night sweats.
Yeah, I do get the night sweats, and I mean that part. You know, shoot, I don't know where that comes from.
Okay, we'll figure it out, Jay. We're in it for you. Just small pieces, right, doctor?
Small pieces. There's tons of little tips and tricks. Yeah.
I know sleep is very important.
Tryptophan, melatonin.
Did you say some tits and tricks? Now we're talking.
Children, probably not. No.
Oh my God, doctor! I'll tell you what. I think more of this is what was it? I said day 12 of shelter in place, but 22 since Red Straw. People are just wanting something that resembles like their former life. Yeah. And it's getting real. The nerves are getting raw right now. And I really think just basic stuff needs to be reiterated in people's life. So tomorrow, could you join the show and say, here are kind of 5 basic things on a daily basis.
Yes.
Reset and get back to.
I will do that.
That'd be awesome.
You got it.
And I'm going to be in a good mood. But I think you have to choose to be in a good mood?
You do, but you also have to choose that it's okay if you're not in an uber good mood. Some days you're just going to perform the best you can, and you still high-five yourself if you don't throat punch people. And Jay has not throat punched you today, so that to me...
it's coming. Okay. It's coming.
You know, I mean, that's one thing I have going for me is I'm not violent.
You aren't violent. No, you're not.
Yeah.
I think about violence.
Well, do you really? I think we all do.
I think about it, but thankfully I don't act on it.
Okay. Any weird 3D things come to you in the mail lately?
Not today. I don't believe anything came today.
Does yours look just like that or bigger?
Mine looks just like that.
Just like that.
Yep.
Dr. Baby Yoda, has that caught on yet in your circle?
No, it should though. I'll put it on the business cards. I'll add it to the website.
Well, you have to wait until people do that.
Exactly. They don't see me right now. So maybe it has caught on and I just don't know about it.
I know. I'm hoping it sticks. You're the best. We can't believe that you join us on a date, no matter if we're up or we're down or where we're at, but we're documenting. This is a period in time, doctor. We're doing a social experiment right now.
I like it.
I think, well, we'll see, right? So far, so good. I mean, we're talking to dolls and squeezing chickens.
Oh, that's new. I did not see the squeezed chicken.
No, you didn't.
Did Dave bring that to you?
No, this is a little rich thing.
Oh.
Right here. That's right. Jay likes, that's the one he likes.
I like that.
I like the high pitch. It does all kinds of stuff.
I like. Good job, Rich.
And you have Spice Guy stuff at home, don't you?
I do, and we had it last night. I put it in sliders last night. The night before, I did chicken wings. I stole that from Rebecca, and I did chicken wings. And last night I did sliders, and it's amazing on everything.
Now you just need some oil.
I do need the oil. Where do I get the oil?
We'll get you. Okay. We'll get you the oil.
Cool.
Show up.
All right.
We'll give you some extra too. Give it to Nick. He'll know what to do with it.
Yeah, he will.
We love you. We'll see you tomorrow.
Love you guys.
4:45. She joins us. There she is, Dr. Baby Yoda. Code 4 counseling. Why do you figure she joins us every day?
You know, she's a good person and we're troubled.
I know we are.
You put those two together.
Tomorrow, today's show. Wow. A lot of ground covered, but what was your highlight? 10 minutes from now?
Highlight
10 minutes
probably talking with Andres.
Yeah.
You know, I have a personal connection to the Hispanic world because of growing up in California and in kitchens and things like that. And so I really like, I like it when we have an opportunity to further that information about the Hispanic community and what's happening and why, you know.
But the Latin community loves you.
Yeah, I mean, well, all the communities love me. I'm lovable. I'm just, I'm just troubled. But no, so that's my highlight, because I like getting into that, and having an opportunity to say, listen, if you don't get a certain, it's a good opportunity for me to get on that Hispanic soapbox and preach, how I view things. And if you view them different, man, more power to you. But that's how I see them.
Mine was probably Pastor Bradley and Slavica Park.
Mm-hmm.
That was really cool to see. Just going, those masks
gals
being made,
sewing these masks in a church,
far out.
That's not.
You caught that some of those folks were from most of them, I think, were from restaurants. So they opened up a job, $15 an hour. Were able to give some folks a job that just lost theirs.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
It's a good thing, man. I mean, it's heartwarming and it's important. And lemonade out of lemons, that you see what your communities are made of and everything else.
Oh my God! I don't know why. Did you see that?
Yeah, I just read Nick's comment.
Nick, she uses Nick, his wife.
Dr. Sara Metz, his husband.
She uses a smoke detector as a cooking timer.
That's pretty good, man. I don't know.
Get any better than that.
No, that's pretty good.
He's a great all-timer right there.
Yeah.
She can throw a mean throat punch. Yeah, I'll bet. She's one of those people that just a nice disposition, but if you piss her off, she'll come get you.
Yeah, she'd beat you to within an inch of your life.
Come grab you. I'm going crazy because of this hair, man. I want to trim it up or cut it off or something.
Let's shave it tomorrow.
Well, we got to figure out how we can do it for charity. Because I will. I'll shave it all off.
We can,
and then I look like a slob too. I got to dress better. This is terrible. Hopefully we're not unraveling.
How about we shave it off? We'll have Dave Avery count how many hairs it is, and then that's how many dollars we want to raise.
Oh, my God. It'd be millions. Jay, tomorrow we got a couple of things, but we're going to book them up. If you have any ideas, because 3 hours a day of programming, and you know of a great story out there that needs to be heard, email j@themoderneater.com, j@themoderneater.com. And other than that, let's do. Would anybody stay through a live right now? Probably not. I'm not even going to do it. Just going to call it a day. We'll see you guys tomorrow back here, 2 p.m. The Modern Eater Show continues.